Hello, spooky friends, and welcome to another episode of Storytime with the Scaryish Podcast.
Woo!
I'm Robin Grace, this is Adam Diaz.
Hello.
And we're here to read you folks some homegrown horrors. Adam's going to tell us what homegrown horrors are.
Homegrown horrors are the wonderful stories that you folks, the listeners and or viewers, have sent to us. They can be paranormal, they can be supernatural. You always move your microphone in the intro, and I always hear it when I'm editing. It's so fucking funny. I was like, why does that always seem to happen? And I went back and I watched the videos, and every time we do these live, Robin adjusts her mic as I'm talking. But yeah, anyways, let me go ahead and mark that. They can be supernatural, spiritual, sometimes coincidental, and those are usually really funny, sometimes true crime, sometimes extraterrestrial in nature. But they are your story, your friend, your family member that you have decided to send to us, and you have said, hey, you can go ahead and share this on the show. Robin, if someone had a story like that, where could they send it?
You can send it to our email,
scariyishstory@.com.
You can send it to our email, storytime@scaryish.com. You can also go to our website, which is scaryish.com, and fill out the contact us form there, and it'll send it to us that way.
Indeed. So there's many ways to get a hold of us. However you would prefer, go ahead and send it on over, and we will add it to the queue. So tonight, we're going to be reading 4 stories, but I'm going to read 3 that are relatively short, and Robin is going to read 1 long one. Nice and long. So yeah. I'm going to start. Then she's going to go. We're going to have a break in the email where it says that we can naturally have a break. And then after the break, we're going to come back. She'll finish that email, and then I'll read the last 2. Sound good?
Cool.
Last 2? Yeah, last 2. Cool. So 5 segments, 4 stories. All right. So do you want me to go first?
Well, it has
I think
to
that
be
was the
you.
format that I just said that just came out of my mouth.
Jesus
So
Christ.
right on. This first email subject is doppelganger or clone can read on podcast. Well done with your subject. We appreciate it. Starts out like this. Hello again, spooky family.
Hello.
Hello. And everyone else out there, yell hello. It's me again, Chaboy, coming to you with another tale of my interesting paranormal experiences. Let me start off by giving a little background. When I was just a little one, I used to be super religious, to the point where I would go to church alone on Sundays and Wednesdays. I went every chance I got, but as I got older, I stopped going as much. When I became of working age, I stopped going altogether. Anyways, for my story. When I was about 7 or 8 years old, I used to go to this church that some of my aunts and uncles went to. So when the church services were over, our family would get together for lunch, and all the cousins would come and hang out. This particular Sunday, all the adults were busy, so we asked if all of us kids could hang out after church. Our parents agreed, and we all went to my uncle's house. He had to run errands, so he dropped us off and instructed no one to go outside while they were gone. Growing up, were you allowed to go outside at all?
No.
See, it's kind of weird because although I was a latchkey kid, so I could come home, unlock the house, go inside and lock it, I was allowed to go outside as long as someone's parents in the nearby neighborhood were home. But then when I was 7, we moved to a more remote location, so I was allowed to go outside as long as I was going to a friend's house. So I know it's a lot different now, and I was wondering when that started to change because I was born in 85.
When I was younger, I think we were allowed to go out into the yard and hang out because we lived in one house, right? And there was a little yard that we kind of shared with a neighbor's house. And so we hung out with the neighbor's kids and our downstairs neighbor's kids. But when we got older, we moved to a different house that was in bumfuck nowhere. And when we moved there, we weren't allowed to leave the structure unless my parents were home. So
I understand how rules change based off of whether or not there's a neighborhood structure where another adult could be present to watch the kids. So, and having the built-in nearby friends of just play with the neighbor kids, rather than
and they were the same grades or in the same schools. So if we were in elementary school, they were also in elementary school, but I think they were a little older than us. And then they had a kid that was in high school. So my older sister could hang out with the kid in high. It was it
worked out very well.
And what's funny is I have another set of friends that I grew up with that same kind of thing where the older sister was the same age as me and the younger sister was the same age as my younger sister. So we were in all the same classes with each other. So we kind of grew up through middle school and high school and stuff. We went to the same middle school, which was Catholic school.
It's funny how that winds up happening. And I think that's how you wind up really clicking with certain friends. It's just hey, like, I have an older brother that's just as old as your older brother. Maybe they can hang out. And if those people wind up becoming friends, then you're like always hanging out together.
Yeah.
So that's what happened with my friend Lee and I. So Lee's older brother Ryan was friends with my brother for the longest time, and I was best friends with Lee, like still to this day, even though he beat me in fantasy football. Fuck you. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to the story. That was a fun little tangent.
Yeah, I was like, what was the story again? No.
All right, so all the cousins are gathered into the uncle's house, and the uncle is gone. No adults are around, but they're not allowed to come outside. My uncle had a 2-bedroom home, but as the family grew, he converted the living room and kitchen into a bedroom and converted the carport into the new living room and kitchen. There were 2 large windows, one to see the yard, the other would see the road. Since we had just gotten out of church, my girl cousins were all in dresses, so naturally they went to go change into something more comfortable. I was sitting on the couch in the living room when I see what looks to be my cousin outside the window, standing in the road in the red dress she was wearing to church.
Oh,
Remembering...
It's like It Follows.
That's just, I mean, that's a little bit different than It Follows, but yeah, like, that's super creepy. Remembering my uncle urging us to stay inside, I call out to her, expecting the figure outside to turn and look at me, but suddenly I hear my cousin come running out of her room wearing a t-shirt and jeans. I turn around and see my cousin. Super confused, I asked her if she had just been outside since we arrived. She replied, "No, I've been inside because my dad said we couldn't go outside." I then explained to her that I had just seen her outside in the red dress she was wearing at church. We both stare at each other in silence when suddenly we come to an unspoken agreement. Even though we weren't supposed to go outside, we were going to go outside and check on what I had seen.
I've done that before, where your parents are like, "Don't go anywhere," and they're like, "Well, you're not home, so I'm going."
It's like, as soon as you fucking leave, I'm going. Like, that's on you. So we walk outside, holding our breath. We look into the yard and see nothing. After we walk around the house to make sure there was no one hiding, we make our way back to the front and see my other cousin outside, and he asks what we were doing. I explain to him what happened when suddenly he gets quiet, staring up the road at a stop sign. I turned to I turned to look where he was staring, and I see the girl in the red dress facing the other direction away from us. I turned to my cousins to confirm we were seeing what we were seeing, and when I looked back at the stop sign girl in the red dress, she was gone. I wonder if they saw her disappear, if they all looked away and they looked back and she was gone or not.
Yeah.
That's all I got for you in this installment. I just want to take a second to thank you first of all for reading my stories, and secondly for everything you do. From long nights to long drives and everything in between, this podcast, scratch that, this whole community, you've truly created a blessing.
That's
Thank you
nice.
so much.
Thank you. I mean, really, this does remind me of It Follows, because there's a scene in it.
It's not following, so that's why I'm saying it's not like It Follows.
No, but it's just like there's a scene in the movie. If you guys haven't seen it yet, it's been too long. I don't care if this is spoiling it for you, but there is a scene where they see one of their friends. They're all on the beach, hanging out on the beach, and you see their friend standing off a little bit towards like the woodsy looking area part of the beach,
approaching them.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, okay, what's their friend doing there? And then you see their friend floating past.
Yeah, they float by because they're on the lake or the beach or whatever.
Yeah. And
you're like, oh, there's 2 of them.
Yeah,
this is about to get rough.
Yeah, so it's the thing that's coming to get them. And that's just what it reminded me of when it's like, I saw my cousin outside, but then the cousin comes running out,
right.
you know.
It was the It that follows.
Yeah.
So that's certainly definitely creepy. Maybe it was just some other girl in a similar dress. Can't really tell for sure when you're a kid because you can't go and chase someone down and be like, what the hell are you? But it's certainly something that clearly stuck with you and is super fucking creepy.
Yeah.
So thank you for sharing that with us. We appreciate it. All right. Let's look over into Stream Chat, see what you folks had to say. Thank you for joining us on this wonderful Tuesday evening. I am going to be drinking Leinenkugel's Snowdrift Vanilla Porter, and I am excited because I had a sip of one already. It was Robin's, and it was really stinking good. So
I'm going to have more of that boozy eggnog with extra booze in it.
Boozy eggnog with extra booze.
Yeah.
All right. Some shout outs to give out. 2 hours ago, Ray Renee 14 followed us over there on Twitch. ASP Bunny resubscribed using Prime Gaming for the 16th month. Said, Glitch, did you kill me? I'm guessing that was during the battles that were occurring before we got on the air. Carly resubscribed for the 2nd month in a row, 13th month total. Says, hi, spooky friends. What up, Carly? Thank you for joining us. The Snark is resubscribed for the 24th month and says, 2 years. Love y'all and love this community.
Woo.
We're really sorry we forgot the ham. We delivered a gift to the Snark's house. We rang the doorbell. We ran away to our car and waved and said Merry Christmas. We were also supposed to deliver them a ham that was in our freezer that we were not going to cook this holiday season, and we forgot it. So we're going to have to make another trip over there. But it will make its way over there. Tiny Dancer Nation donated 100 bits, and I believe Tiny Dancer Nation is now the stream boss right there. So thank you so much for donating, and congratulations on becoming the boss of the stream.
The extra booze I'm putting in is Captain Morgan. Obviously, we drink a lot of it because this handle is almost empty.
So now that you've mixed your drink, I get to let you know that in the last 7 minutes, we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now drinks redeemed. 2 from the Snarked, 1 from Captain Fake Eye, 1 from Glitch Grim, 1 from Carly, and Girl Panic redeemed a high 5.
Cool.
So 5 drinks to start the show. Why do you linger? It's so creepy. Also, I mean, you know what? I'll wait for this other thing I was going to say. It involves something on my shirt, though. But yeah, we'll wait until the commercial break, and I'll bring that up.
Okay. I just saw myself holding my hand up for way too long.
I like how you don't read any of the stream chat.
Sorry, I just got off work, okay, and I kind of rushed home. And I am not prepared.
You are not prepared.
That's the whole point, babe.
All right, I'll introduce the people that were here at the beginning of the show because Robin's chat only goes back so far. Glitch was the first person in either channel, said, woo. Tiny Dancer Nation said, howdy. Blanca Bello over there in YouTube. Cursed Wolf says, woo, and then put in Team Woo. ASB Bunny is also here. Lore and Captain Fake Eye. It's nice to see all you wonderful folks. Kayla Ray Reads. When we were about to start, we were actually watching the epic battle between Kayla Ray Reads and Glitch. And then, multiple people joined the battle again. So I was like, all right, fuck it. We're going to start the show. Scrolling. I think I've caught up to where you are. So I will let you take over the Twitch chat. I do not have a lot of YouTube chat yet again. Jay Valor says, hi-yo over there in YouTube. Hi-yo.
Lots of talk about Among Us from this past weekend. We've been playing Among Us for 3 weeks.
Should mention, and we'll mention this again on the show.
We are not going to play this weekend.
Correct. It's the 26th. We are going to take some time off to just sort of chillax and enjoy.
Spend it with family. Watch Wonder Woman.
Yeah, we might do that on Christmas, actually.
Watch Letterkenny.
Definitely watching fucking Letterkenny, though. Gonna burn that whole season. Gonna go burn through that entire season on Saturday. Very excited to do that.
Yeah.
Vivian says, hey, losers. That's mean. Robin really said, boozy eggnog, hold the eggnog. Vivian says, I made a really cool Christmas painting, or I made a really cool painting for my dad for Christmas. That's cool.
Let's see. Carly says, I'm 1,000% positive that we covered the Haunting in Georgia story about the Warwick family, but can't find which episode. Is that the Bell Witch one?
No, Bell Witch is in Kentucky, I think. Bell Witch is more in the Midwest.
I don't know. We've covered so many hauntings, it's hard to...
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Vivian says, unfortunately, Hanukkah is over. I got lots of cookies.
Woo!
Hope you had a happy Hanukkah. I have to take this one from your chat. I'm What's for Dinner says, what is Letterkenny about? It is similar to a Seinfeld-style show where there's, some continuity, but each episode is kind of completely different.
It's very irreverent. So there are things that they'll say that you're just like, what? And if you are somewhat sensitive to certain things, it might be offensive.
No, I doubt it.
No, I think I think some people would be offended.
I think if you watched it, I don't know if you'd be offended even if you were a sensitive person if you just gave it a chance, because they make such an effort in the entire show to make sure that they are very
PC.
Not even PC, they're just very straightforward in the fact that they care about everyone and they're decent human beings. So
that like to get into fights.
They get into fights, they
like
smoke.
To scrap.
They like to scrap. They work hard, they play hard. There's nothing wrong with that. So all right.
Let's see. I can't believe everybody redeemed drink all at once. I'm only on I've only done 2.
I was gonna say that sentence had a hard time coming out. Sounds like you already drank them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I've done 2 as well.
ASC Bunny's like, this could be alcohol poisoning. When we went to Mexico.
Yeah, that's the closest I've seen.
It's the closest that Adam's ever seen me to probably getting alcohol poisoning. Holy fuck.
She was fucking hammered. She was shut down for a day. She just got to the point where it's she was super drunk to the point where she was kind of a handful. And then we ate a little bit, and I was like, okay, cool, let's go back to the room and chill out, and then we'll go from there. And she slept and then woke up and then slept again.
I thought we missed our flight.
She thought we missed our flight, and she was just like freaking out about it. I'm like, you're like 36 hours early on that. Like, we didn't miss our flight. However, you did just sleep for 8 hours in the middle of the day, and it's midnight. So it was, and then when she finally woke up and was like coherent and could speak like in sentences, I was like, now my watch has ended, and I went to sleep.
Yeah, he thought I was gonna like choke on my own vomit.
It was the one time in my life where I was like, if I fall asleep, there is a chance that this human being dies because of how drunk they are.
It was bad. Never again. All right. Chunkster says, Glitch still remember the betrayal from the game on Saturday. If you ever want to play Among Us with us, we play on Saturdays usually, and obviously not this Saturday, but there is a lot of gaslighting, lots of betrayal.
So much lying.
I think my favorite thing to do is hide and seek, though.
I've never, ever been the imposter on hide and seek, so I wouldn't know, which is unfortunate because I do like being the imposter because I do like killing people. It's fun.
Oh, that's a weird sentence.
It was really weird, too, because Robin and I finally got to be imposters at the same time together, and she sold me out even though I hadn't done anything wrong, and I took the blame for her murders. I was just like, cool. Fuck you. Like, we could have had fun. And then me and Spooky Sis wound up being imposters together, and we killed everyone in like 30 seconds. It was awesome.
Yeah, that was the fastest game I've ever played of Among Us. I'm Beef Trainer says, hey, Spooky Fam, Merry Christmas. I'm late to the pod as we just got home, and I just got my dinner plate. Nice.
No worries.
What's funny is the leaves have just started getting crispy and falling from trees.
Crispy.
Yeah, and Spooky Mom, the other day, I went on like an outing day with her and just hung out with her for most of the day. And she was saying, since the trees are starting to lose their leaves and stuff like that, that's her favorite thing to do. She had to run outside just to crunch them because they're crispy.
She aims for them when she rides her bike so she can hear the crunch, which
I
is
just thought it was the most precious thing.
So appropriate.
Let's see. Captain Fake Eye asked if It Follows is an allegory for sexually transmitted diseases.
I mean, it's kind of
it could be
direct parallel for it.
Yeah, because in order for you to fend off the thing, you have to keep passing it on via having sex with somebody.
It's an allegory for a lot of stuff, like materialism and the way we always treat society as like someone's only valuable if they're like promiscuous is a good way to put it, and the most safe people in the entire movie are the people who are not. And even a person who's like not promiscuous just from having sex with the wrong person all of a sudden has their life at risk. So it's definitely an allegory for a bunch of stuff. It's also kind of boring, but also pretty good. I won't lie. We were pretty bored the first time we saw it, but looking back on it, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah. Glitch says, get this man a puppers about I'm What's Finner saying what's Letterkenny.
I'm What's Finner says, you still have leaves? Yeah, it's still really warm in Vegas.
It's warm. It's
the warmest winter I've ever had out here.
In the early hours of the morning, it's still 46, 50. Like, it's still really warm.
By like 9 to 10, it's like you don't even need a coat to go outside. So that's not happened at any point since I moved to Vegas in 2011.
Laura Ann says, I'm enjoying some cranberry Moscato right now. It tastes a lot like actual cranberries. Nice.
Gross.
Chunkster says, same Robin, I'm watching Wonder Woman 84 with my boyfriend. Got tickets to the very first showing.
Nice.
We're going to be watching it on HBO because when was the
movie
last
theaters.
time we went to the movie theaters? The scripter says, Wonder Woman!
We're very close to the point where I will feel more safe about going out now that this vaccine is starting to go out and more frontline workers are getting it and elderly and high-risk folks, and eventually more folks can start to get it. And then I'll be like, sweet, I will feel like the world is reopened to me, which will be pretty tight.
Carly says, either I totally imagined the Haunting in Georgia episode or I've been Mandela affected. We did cover a Haunting in Georgia. Is that the one, the Demon House?
Nope, that's Gary, Indiana.
Damn it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think, but I can't. We've covered over 300 topics, and it's really hard to remember specific ones sometimes. Some of them, it's like it sticks out in your mind, and you always know that one.
I'm always worried we're going to cover something we already covered, so we're pretty diligent about it.
Yeah. So I wish I could tell you what it was. And I bet those My Favorite Murder hosts too are just like, we've covered so much murder, it's really hard to remember.
I remember one of the episodes I listened to, they realized they finally covered something they had already covered.
Yes, I have come across that episode too.
But it's the episode where they realized they had covered it in a live show that had not been put out. So they're like, technically, we're okay for folks who weren't at the live show.
Da, 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 da.
La 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 la.
Sure. Okay. Movie theaters. Talking about movie theaters being open. Some movie theaters are open, and they just put in like social distancing protocols, so you can't sit X amount of seats.
Right.
Next to someone.
Captain Fake Eye said that she got the vaccine, so congratulations, Captain Fake Eye. I know that there's a second round of shots coming up in like 2 weeks. Someone asked them if they're having any side effects. She says no, none other than a sore arm the next day. I actually have a lot of friends who are nurses or work in the healthcare industry that have all gotten it, and they all report the same thing. It's very similar to getting a flu shot. I think the side effects listed are almost identical to that of a flu shot. So I understand being careful about what you put in your body, but also be very aware that it's definitely going to be the safest option. So be smart about what you do and be precautious. Is that a word? Wear your masks, people. Just wear your masks still, folks. That's all I'm going to say.
I'm What's Her Dinner says, I'm Beef Trainer can get offended somewhat easily. She can't stand South Park or Family Guy.
Then you probably won't like it. So
you probably won't like it because it's very, like I said, it's a very irreverent show.
Oh, anyone who watches it has never watched it before, skip the episode known as Fart Book.
Yeah, skip Fart Book.
I think it's the third episode.
The worst episode.
They try and make it funny. It's just not funny.
It's not funny.
They even like sort of retcon it later in the series where they're just like, farts aren't that funny, so that episode's just kind of stupid. Everyone that I know that watches Letterkenny just skips that episode when they get to it, and you don't miss out on anything at all. So Brian says, Brian on YouTube says, I would consider getting Among Us, but I work while you guys are playing. That's a bummer.
Oh, that sucks. I have been time traveling in Animal Crossing, trying to get through every single day of the Halloween event. And time traveling in that game is so tedious because you have to close out the game and then change the time and then go back into the game. And it's just, you have to do that for every single day you skip to. So that's what I've been doing on my Switch.
They call it time traveling. It's also known as cheating. Just saying. Girl Panic 95 says, I'm 25 and still think fart stuff is hilarious. Then Letterkenny is the show for you. It is on Hulu. Go check it out.
Let's see. Scroll.
Jay Valor says, being a teacher is great until every student has come into school for face-to-face finals. I'm now sick, not with COVID, but nevertheless, I know the little shit who is sick and testing. It's just very frustrating. I have not been sick nearly as much as I was sick in 2019 because I've been working from home, because I worked in an office building. And although those aren't children, those are, grown adults who are filthy and disgusting, and they bring in disease and they work while they're sick because we're encouraged to do that here for some fucking reason. And it's been really nice to not have to worry about getting the flu or getting a cold because someone doesn't wash their goddamn hands. I just have to be at home with the disgusting people who live here.
What's Her says, Twitch is making me mad. Going to YouTube. I'll be back for Merbers.
Maybe.
All right. I'm going to go start reading the first portion of my email.
Cool. Let's hope it's not in that same cadence.
All right, let me take my last drink because I've taken 4, so I'm on my 5th. Laura Ann says, I too am drinking straight from the bottle. Who else is drinking from the bottle?
Nice.
Chunkster OMG Robin is drinking straight from the bottle. I am not. Anyway, okay.
La 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 la.
All right, so I'm gonna. Whoa. Okay.
Lot of booze. I'm guessing. So give us that wonderful intro to the next story.
I was about to.
I don't know. It was very silent. It was very, very silent.
Holy fuck.
You don't have to talk to me like that. There's no reason to be like that.
What do you mean? What?
I'll shut this thing off. I have my finger on the button right now.
I
shut the whole thing down.
Dare
shut
you.
the whole fucker down.
Don't do it. Don't actually do it.
Then don't dare me.
I'm surprised you don't have the Manscaped thing up on the thing.
Nah.
All right.
Not yet. Not until I'm 100% sure that what's going on with it. But
all right.
Manscaped.
All right. So this next email comes from Erica, and the subject is La Llorona stories. It begins, "Sup, spooky friends."
Sup.
That's us and you.
Say sup.
The spooky friends.
Everyone say sup.
Sup. It would be funny if so many people were fans of this show and you just heard sup around the world.
That would be kind of insane. I saw a cartoon, side note,
God.
very quickly. When I was a kid, there was a Garfield cartoon. It was like Garfield and Odie doing silly stuff. And they like got control of a television program at one point. And it was like different from the normal television programming. And then they heard this sound right when their show started. And Odie, the dog, was like, what was that noise? And Garfield's like, it was the sound of everyone changing their channel at the exact same time.
Oh, my God.
I think about that every time we go live, in fact. So.
All right. So the email continues. It's your girl, Erica, back with another story.
What's up, Erica?
I recently sent you a story about my haunted San Francisco apartment. It might be more notable that I talked about my brother's farts in that particular email. That's the one where the brother just tortures her with all the farts.
I remember. We were talking about farts during the break, too, so that's just such a perfect transition.
I can't believe I got the wrong Paranormal Activity in that story, but it was the cabinet door one, or the second movie. Also, I definitely got, quote, when in doubt, sage it out, from another podcast, but I'm not sure which one. Maybe it's And That's Why We Drink, which is so funny because I've heard about And That's Why We Drink so often.
I have too. They have a lot more listeners than we do, probably because it's two ladies, so I should probably just replace myself, and then maybe you'll do better.
You're all right.
Thanks for that.
Also, shout out to them. Yes, shout out to them. Anyways, I mentioned that my mom has a ton of stories and you wanted to hear her La Llorona story. That one is kind of short, so I also am sending you a simmer. I'm cooking. Sending you a I also am sending you a similar La Llorona adjacent story from my dad as well. It's a 2-for-1 special, just in time for Cyber Monday, or Christmas in this case. Oh my gosh, how many weeks ago was Cyber Monday? 4 weeks? Almost, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
A little less?
I think it's right around 4 weeks,
All
maybe
right.
a full month.
The second story will be long, so I'll make sure to let you know where you can split the story if you want to. That is so cool because we totally appreciate that, and it makes it so much easier on us when we're trying to figure out which story we're going to read where. So let's get to it. Okay?
Let's get started.
This story is not as detailed because my mom hates talking about it. It still gives her the shivers, and she has only discussed it on a handful of occasions after we pester her. My mom grew up in a town tucked into a tropical-ish area of Mexico. There was a mango tree in her yard that she loved, and a river ran behind her house. The river was small enough where she could get across it in the dry season, but large enough that it was a drowning concern in the wet season. That is super scary. She is one of 10 children.
Nice.
And is 9 of 10 in the birth order. So she's the youngest, second to youngest.
Gotcha.
There's a fairly large gap between her and her next oldest sibling. So she grew up taking care of my tia, or her baby sister, often when my nana would work. And it was usually just the 3 of them at home. As a bit of a backstory, my nana worked in a restaurant or something of that nature, but she was also known as a healer in the community. She was really good with herbs, natural medicines, and would sometimes do cleansings. So sometimes she would leave in the night to help sick people, etc. One night, my nana was called away to help the neighbors who had a cold or a tummy ache. I don't really know, but that's not important. She was gone. So my mom and my tia were at home trying to get to sleep when my mom heard a woman crying from the direction of the river. If you hear someone crying from the direction of the river, okay, realistically, you'd be like, oh my God, are they okay?
Does someone need help? Yeah.
Because you don't immediately go, it's La Llorona, ignore it, even though you probably would want to, and that's the smarter decision. But I feel like for me, human instinct, you're like, I need to check and see if this person's
What if there's
okay.
actually a person who needs help and you're like,
Yeah.
not today, river demon! And you just don't go and help them.
And then they die.
Yeah, and then they become La Llorona and it's your fault.
It's just scary. I don't know what I would do in that situation. I would probably go and check. I know I always yell at the TV when we watch horror movies, like, why would you do that? But then if it were you and you think realistically, you would probably go and check it,
Yeah.
you know? Right. So thinking it was her mom, my mom tucked her baby sister into bed and went to peek her head out. She saw nothing but kept hearing crying. It sounded close enough that she thought she would be able to see her, but all she saw was darkness. The crying subsided, and my mom sat there worried that my Nana was hurt or something until she walked in the door. My mom explained what she heard to my Nana, who was visibly upset by the story, and said, quote, "If you hear that again, don't go looking for anything. Just hide," end quote. So my mom hears this crying on and off at night for a few days until one night when it sounded like it was right outside.
That's fucking terrifying.
Against my Nana's advice, my mom peeks out and she sees a woman dressed in white wandering the riverbank just beyond her favorite mango tree. The woman's body looked like it was almost glowing in the moonlight, and the dress looked as though she'd been walking through mud and was dirty at the hem. She's taking in the scene when she hears what
sounds like boom, boom.
She's taking in the scene when she hears that she's not just crying, but she's actually crying out for her children. Suddenly, she feels an arm around her waist as my Nana scoops her up and slams the shutters closed. My Nana is pissed, partially at my mom for disobeying her and partially at a ghost for trying to take her children. I never met my Nana, unless you count meeting her ghost as meeting her. But if she is anything like my mom, she would absolutely try to go fisticuffs with La Llorona to defend her kids.
That's adorable.
My mom recalls my Nana calling over some of her friends the next day and then planting things in the garden and doing a ritual. But she doesn't really recall those details much since she was just a little girl. She also doesn't remember hearing the crying after that. Imagine her terror when her schoolmates told her the legend of La Llorona. She said, and I quote, "I was trying not to shit my pants as my friends described the story because it was exactly what happened to me." My Nana would either take the girls with her after this happened, or it would, or would make one of her older children stay with them so they would never be home alone again.
That was pretty good.
I think the Nana's pretty badass for taking care of her kids, you know, and making sure, like, yo, I am a healer. I know some weird stuff happens, and you need to stay away from that stuff.
Right.
It's just
Put your foot down, Nana.
It's a scary experience, but it's so cool to have someone in your life who's like, no, that's not happening to my kids, you know?
That's what, like, when you watch horror movies, there needs to be a character like that. Someone who has the knowledge or the courage to stand up to, like, whatever thing is terrifying you in that movie. And that's, like, kind of what drives the story forward. When it's a movie where everything seems hopeless the whole time and then they lose, it's like, well, I wasn't really scared because I never thought they had a chance. But when there's that tension because someone, like, brings hope to the situation, it definitely makes things much more compelling. And it's definitely that way for, you know, a story in real life.
Like when they bring in Ed and Lorraine Warren, you're like, things are going to be okay.
You're like, okay, these people have a chance now. That type of thing. That's why I didn't like the movie Sinister. Because the
the
whole premise of the movie is like, okay, well, as soon as you see him, like, you're done. And then there's, like, nothing that he stumbles upon where it's like, here's how you could save your family. It's like, no, you're fucked.
Which is the one with the red demon?
The red demon is Insidious, I think.
Okay. Is that the first one?
Yeah, the first one. So, but yeah, thank you for sending that first part of your story, and we will get back to your story soon. Yeah. Should I go ahead and read one of my short ones since your next section is actually rather long?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so I'm going to actually move into my second one. After we chit-chat with you all for a second, do you think I was going to fucking forget about you? Aha, I got you. But yeah, let's go ahead and look over in stream chat for a second. What was that face?
Like, okay.
Fuck you. I did see someone mention that one of the hosts from And That's Why We Drink was binary neutral, non-binary. That's how they said it. And their pronouns are they, them. I've never actually listened to it. So
yeah, we've never actually listened to it, And That's Why We Drink. And maybe that's why we drink. No. But I think that's really cool. I think people that are open about, say, being gender fluid or whatever you want to be, I think it's cool that you're open enough on your platform to just be like, this is me. You better take it or leave it because I don't give a fuck. You know?
That's absolutely why we ask people for their pronouns in our emails as well, because there's no way really for us to know. And the only thing I actually know about, And That's Why We Drink, I believe it's the podcast that has the logo that's a Ouija board.
Yeah.
With and it looks like two ladies on the thing. And now that I know, that is, you know, just a generalization I made. So I apologize for that, but thank you for letting me know.
Yeah. The more you know.
I will let you go
Rainbow.
over your Twitch chat now. So Brian said in regards, I'm pretty sure this is in regards to Animal Crossing, they need a Mrs. or a Mr. Rossetti for time travelers. Do you understand what that means in Animal Crossing?
Rossetti is, oh man, which one's Rossetti? Is he the what is it called when he digs in the ground? He's not an anteater.
Archaeologist?
He's not an anteater. What animal
Is he Indiana
is he?
Jones?
He's a mole.
Oh, yeah. That's close.
Yeah, I think Mr. Rossetti's a mole.
What does he do? Like, how does that make sense for they need a Mr. Rossetti for time travelers?
I don't even remember.
Cool.
I'm so buzzed right now.
Jay Valor says, same. This is the first time I've been sick all year, but I would die in Vegas. It's the dust and sand. Asthma is a bitch. What's kind of ironic is it's actually been beneficial for my mom to move out here from the Midwest. Because the lack of humidity and the lack of pollens and allergens.
The lack of having to shovel snow.
Yeah, well, duh. But yeah, the lack of allergens in the area has definitely been super helpful. Dust and sand is a pain in the ass, but you don't really get sand on a lot of stuff. Dust does get on a lot of stuff.
A windy day is few and far between. So most of the time, there's not a lot of dust blowing around. But when it is windy, then it is a mess.
Yeah. It's also a mess based off of like what area you're in and what crops, and I shouldn't say crops, like what trees they've planted so they could look nice. I mean, we've all had the discussion on the jizz trees, so we know what that's about. So when spring hits, then we all have all these allergens that we've just imported to our land, and that can be really annoying. So many people said sup. It's fucking hilarious.
Sup.
Brian says, kind of miss our kitties. They went to their forever home today. Well, it's nice that you foster them until they found a forever home. I would miss. I can't. That's the reason I can't foster anything. Is because I'd miss it too much.
So there is someone who's been an amazing supporter of the show for a very long time. She is the one, Corey. She's the one that does the Cat Steve stuff, and she fosters so many animals, so many kittens, and I've asked her before, like, how does she do it? And she told me, like, the process of how you can start, because I really wanted to. I love cats so much, but I know I would be a failure at fostering because I would want to adopt all these animals.
And you'd make me change all the litter boxes, and I'd be like, no more fostering.
I love animals way too much. I love cats. I love dogs. I've had birds. I've had rabbits. I just can't not keep them all. Wow. So I would be a horrible foster parent.
I saw a video today, and it explained originally that some dogs are in shelters for so long, the non-kill shelters, that they start to recognize certain patterns and they get excited, like the whole Pavlov's dog thing. Like if your dog sees you grabbing the leash, they know they're going to go for a walk and they get excited, that type of thing.
Yeah.
There's a dog that had been there for so long that it started to notice like the little card that they carry that's orange. And they would slide it into like the dog's like name tag that people could come up and see, and it says like, I'm adopted. And so after a day or two, when they slide that thing in there, the dog would come and get its new family. And so this lady's like, this dog gets so excited every time I have one of these in my hand. And she like walks up, and this dog is like wagging its tail and its ears are pinned back. And
it's
she
so
like
smart.
She slides it into its thing, and it starts like dancing like back and forth on all its paws, and it looks so incredibly happy. I was like, this is the nicest thing I've ever seen. I was so happy. I saw it when I was pooping today. It's the nicest poop I've taken in a long time.
Okay. Cool. ASB Bunny says, don't worry, Adam, you're a lady in our hearts. You're a lady in my heart, too. You're my type of woman.
Thanks. Am I your lady?
You're my lady. That's how the song goes, right?
Kind of, yeah. It's close enough.
Tiny Intonation says, I started and that's why we drink last year. Fully caught up by the time Kayla Ray Reeds and I saw their live show in January.
Jealous.
The only live show that we went to for any podcast, I feel like it's just My Favorite Murder, right? We've only seen those two.
Correct. There's not a lot that we've had the opportunity to go see.
We've seen a lot of concerts.
I mean, it's Vegas.
A lot of concerts, a lot of conventions, but the only podcast live show we've seen is My Favorite Murder. And
it's pretty good.
It wasn't that bad, no.
The Homegrown Murder, what's it called?
Homegrown Horror. Oh, no, that's us.
That's us.
Hometown Murder. I was like, wait, no.
Was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad. And we were just like, that is the most boring story I've ever heard.
And everyone was just waiting for it to end.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was awful. Let's see. I'm Beef Train says, quick update from the lemon bars I made and took to work for our Christmas dinner. And I posted the recipe I developed on Discord. Everybody that had them loved them and said it was like eating lemonade. I love lemon bars. I think they're so delicious.
She does. Brian over there in YouTube says, dirty joke of the week. Why did the mermaid wear seashells?
To cover her titties. I don't know.
She outgrew her bee shells.
Oh my God. That's a good joke.
That's a really good joke.
Jinx, you owe me a soda.
Nah, dog, nah. And it's Jinx, you owe me a Coke specifically. It's a brand thing. It's like marketing.
Oh.
Looks like Lich has something waiting for you in chat called Dad Joke of the Week.
Let's see.
Brian says, anyone else think the sounds Robin makes sometimes sounds like Adam hit her rewind button? She makes so many sounds, dude. Like, there are so many instances during the topic episode where I'm just like, I'll mark it. And, like, this is the thing about the topic episode. We don't have this arrangement, because this is my fucking desk to work at. We don't have this arrangement when we record the topic episode. So we have a monitor here and a monitor here. And I read my script off of this monitor. On the other monitor is Reaper, which is our audio recording. And so you can see the audio samples going. So she can see a lot easier when I mark a mistake for her. So sometimes when the wheels start falling off, I just start I do 3 or 4 marks, fucking get it together, woman.
Yeah, it's like, wooka Slim Shady.
It's so annoying.
Chunkster redeemed drink 6 minutes. 6 minutes ago? Yeah, 6 minutes ago.
Thank you, Chunkster.
I'm really warm, I'm really buzzed, and it's getting harder to read.
Well, that's the last one. I think that's 6, so. All right, scrolling more for YouTube. Brian says he pops up when you reset your game without saving to yell at you.
Oh.
It's like, will you stop time traveling? We know what you're doing.
I have to. I need to get as many DIYs, Halloween DIYs as possible. If you folks out there want to share some DIYs with me, I would appreciate it. Because right now it's very tedious. I think I'm on October 10th and it's been 2 weekends. And all I'm really doing is visiting my islanders, chilling, talking to them, digging up my fossils, I don't know, selling stuff, buying as much Halloween decor as I can. It's, if you have any DIY, it's really...
I have no idea what you're talking. I've never played Animal Crossing a day in my life.
It is so fun. But you can only get DIYs from either islanders that are, making them in their houses at the time, and you go visit them and they happen to be making something and they give you the DIY recipe. Or the balloons will float across the map and certain balloons have the DIY recipe. So far, it's all stupid stuff I don't want. Not DIYs. It's all rocks. I don't need any of that stuff. I don't need any more minerals. I don't need any of that stuff. I need DIYs.
It's a rough fake life she leads, clearly. Brian says if you keep doing it, he forces you to type out an apology letter before letting you play again. That's fucking hilarious.
Let's see.
Vivian said, I gotta head out. Love y'all. Stay safe. Stay sweet. Stay Scaryish. And remember that you are loved.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Glitch says, Dad joke of the week. I ate a Wookiee today. It was chewy.
Wow. Vale over there on YouTube says, hype. Thank you for joining us, Vale. Javelor says, have you guys watched Good Omens? We started to watch it. We kind of fell off of it.
I love David Tennant. Oh, also, I got my Captain Jack Harkness coat in today. I'm so excited. It's not legitimately the cosplay jacket that they have.
It's a very nice double-breasted black long coat with gold buttons.
Militaristic looking coat. Very cool looking. I love it. It just makes me feel like I can time travel. It's great. I just love David Tennant and Doctor Who and all that fun stuff. Who's the other one in Good Omens? Martin
Lawrence.
No.
That would be a different show.
Sheen? Martin Sheen?
I think it's Martin Sheen. I can't remember. You have a lot of chat to get to.
Okay, anyway. Sorry, I get distracted really easily. Talk about lemon burrs.
Let's talk about
Christmas
lemon
customs. Tiny Dancer Nation says we open our presents on the New Year's Day because my mom likes having the tree under presents underneath the tree for decorations when we host our New Year's Eve party. It's been like that every year since I could remember.
That's insanity.
I couldn't wait.
We do ours midnight Christmas Eve. It's the first second you're allowed to open gifts on Christmas Day, and you better believe that's when we open
wait
gifts.
up till midnight. We wait up till midnight to open these things.
So you can sleep in on Christmas Day. It's the way to do it.
And this year we're having the laziest Christmas of all time.
Michael Sheen.
Martin Sheen is Charlie Sheen's dad, right?
Yes. I don't know, actually. Sounds right.
Shit. Anyway, Scroll. I'm really gonna... Yeah, ASB Bunny says that Rossetti's the mole. He used to yell at people. You already read that. Chunkster says, unfortunately, you cannot time travel to main events on Animal Crossing. I love the cherry blossom season. I wanted to time travel back to September 1st because there's a recipe that you can get on September 1st. You can't get it by time traveling, which is unfortunate. So I was really annoyed because I keep finding acorns and no recipes to make with my acorns. Let's see. ASB only says my fosters have ringworm at the moment, and it kills me not to be able to play with them and pet them.
Aw.
Same though. I would be so sad.
Ringworm sucks.
Girl Panic says my kiddo wants you to know that she loves cats, dogs, and horses. Her name is Frances. It's so cute.
Good job, Francis. Love animals.
Horses are cool. They are very scary because they are very big.
I love horses. I grew up around horses quite a bit. So.
Man, dude. We went horseback riding year before last year.
Like 2 years ago.
Yeah, and man, those things are big. I remember horseback riding when I was maybe 10, maybe 12, around that age. And I don't remember them being that big. But maybe because I was a kid, they just put us on a small horse, you know? But
still
as
bigger
an
than
adult,
you,
we were just riding these giant horses. And I was like, dang.
The horse they put me on, it was so funny because they're like, your horse doesn't like anyone getting in front of them except for the lead horse. So try and make sure no one passes him. And I think someone tried to pass me. And my horse, nipped at the other horse.
Aw, poor horses.
I was like, yeah, good horse.
ASB Funny says, I feel the same, Rob, and I foster everything except dogs because of my cats, and it's hard to give them up. Foster failure is what led me to adopt my Dot before she passed back in May. Yeah, I would definitely just be a foster fail.
Someone has a quick breakdown. Michael Sheen also plays the Lycan leader in Underworld. Kayla Ray says Martin Sheen is Charlie's dad, also Emilio Estevez's dad, which I did know that they shared a dad because they're half brothers.
I was talking about Martin Sheen and Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez today at work. I was talking to my coworker about it.
What? No fucking way.
And I was telling her, I was like, I didn't know that Emilio Estevez was Charlie Sheen's brother until you told me that. Because I was watching all of the Mighty Duck movies, and he's like, they're related, right? I was like, what the fuck? What? All right. Anyway.
There's a movie where they're in it together, and I'm pretty sure they're garbage men. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Kayla Ray Reed says, saw MFM in 2018 and ATWWD early this year. I would die if I saw the McElroys. I would want to meet Griffin so much and tell him how much I love his laugh.
I just want to tell him, you have the best laugh on the planet,
he has
dude.
The best laugh.
It just, you hear him laugh and you laugh. You don't even need to know what he's laughing at. It's just that laugh that's absolutely infectious. Which is a weird word to use in the time of COVID, but seriously, it's just very, very contagious. That doesn't help.
Kayla Ray Reed says, for MFM, one of the hosts did Bonnie and Clyde. Like, what the heck does that have to do with Houston? My brother was disappointed that he got drunk. Ours was boring. One of them did
Jack Binion.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the other one was.
It was.
I mean, the Jack Binion one's not bad.
There's so much.
There were so many drunk people that were just being obnoxious in the audience, and you could tell it irritated Karen and Georgia. It was just like some chick when she said I'm gonna be covering Jack Binion. Some chick in the front row stood up and started screaming at all her friends I fucking told you. I fucking knew it. You didn't know it. And they're in the middle of doing their show. And you can see them half turn is this bitch fucking serious right now? It was just God, this is so obnoxious. Just sit down and shut the hell up.
Kayla Ray Reed says Jack Harkness coat. Yeah, I love Jack Harkness. My sister met him. What is his name? John Barrowman. She met him, took a bunch of pictures with him, and he asked her what kind of picture do you want to take? And she's like, oh, I don't know. And he was just like, you want to touch my butt? He's just the funniest person, and he rocks it in heels. He's just so funny. I was so jealous because I think he's so absolutely cool. Man, John Barrowman's so great. Love him. Okay.
He's also pretty fucking hot.
He is hot. So hot.
If you don't know who John Barrowman is, he's the bad guy on the first 3 seasons of Arrow, and he keeps coming back.
Oh, God, I love him. Okay. Aw, Kayla Ray Reese says Emilio Estevez was the love of my life when I was in junior high. Kayla Ray also says Griffin is my baby. Dude, seriously, I would love to meet Griffin.
I'd like to meet all of them.
I would love to meet Griffin. Okay, I don't want to say anything else. I'm good.
Were you going to be a whore just now?
No!
We're going to start doing okay, here's all the celebrities I want to fuck so
Hit me up,
bad.
Griffin. No. I just don't want to be negative. All right, your turn.
Okay, I guess we'll move forward. All right, I will read my YouTube stuff when I get back because there's not a ton of it, but I'm starting to get some, so I'll let that accumulate. All right, marking it. Boop. It's been marked. All right, so actually, before we move into the second half of Robin's story, I'm going to go ahead and read one more story. And this one's subject is My Mom's Story - The Ouija Board. Awesome.
Before you continue, did you already do the chunkster drink? I don't even
Yes,
remember.
like fucking 30 minutes ago.
I'm just making sure.
Good Lord. Let's stop show. I'll let you finish. I'm going to let you finish. It goes like this. Hi, Adam and Robin. Hi.
Hello.
Holy fucking shit. Side note, thank you for such an awesome podcast, a.k.a. the only podcast I listen to.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I like that you had Hi, Adam and Robin, and then a side note, because that's really our style. It sincerely is. It then says, okay, well, this is my mom's story on the notorious Ouija board. Dun, dun, dun. I remember her telling this to me at a young age, and then I just started listening to you a couple of months ago, and this came back to me. Let's begin. My mom's friend, another friend, and my mom. That's all. It says period. Okay, that's weird. I'm just going to fucking edit that part out. I don't know why those left in. Her friend. Okay, this is just a fucking mess. Let's begin. My mom's friend, another friend, and my mom. Her friend decided to use the Ouija board and contact the recent death of the other friend's daughter. The other friend's daughter was brutally murdered near that home, and that murder case took years to solve.
Wow.
Anyway, my mom and her friend were just messing around with the planchette, and it did not move because of the friend. Mind you, they were getting very little energy, and I was just like, okay, tell me more. My mom put her head down. This is so weird. It's like they're going in and out of
Present.
Their mom telling them the story and then them like commenting on it with nothing but a comma. So I'm just going to try and like leave those parts out. My mom put her head down and then said the next line. Her friend moved. Okay. It's just so much. Her friend moves it to goodbye, but my mom kept playing. My mom had one finger on the planchette as it flew across the Ouija board. She asked who it was. It was the daughter of the friend who was murdered. The friend sat there in amazement. Then she asked multiple different things and then ended on who and how were you killed. The spirit told my mom. The mother was crying and the friend and my mom just decided to say goodbye. My mom and her friends never told the police due to concerns about insanity. The police took months to solve the case, and this gets creepy. It was the name the planchette had spelled out. Well, this is my story, but dang, she has so many stories and I'm trying to get her to send them, so I will try to work some magic. Enjoy. Abigail.
Thank you so much, Abigail, for sending that. It's just so mind-blowing, and it's really hard when you hear this or find this out via supernatural paranormal means, and it's something where it's like, I can't go to the police. What am I going to tell them? We played this Ouija board and this is the name it told us, because I'd be afraid, like, what if they think I'm the killer? What if they think I'm the one that did it, and that's why I'm...
Yeah, there's so much that would go into that thought process of, like, how do we even use this information at this point without, like, just trying to investigate it yourself, which is incredibly dangerous. So at least the murder was solved. And I will say, like, it was solved in months, which does seem like an eternity, especially for people who were part of that family.
Yes.
But in the grand scheme of things, months to solve a murder where you have, like suspects that you have to go through and tons of witnesses is not bad at all. So I'm glad to see that justice was actually done. So.
And they were actually able to find the person, because there are so many cold cases out there that don't get that like satisfying end, the knowledge of what really happened.
Right.
So I'm really glad that they were able to solve it.
Indeed. Me as well. So thank you for sending that in. We definitely want to hear the additional stories if you can get them. If not, we totally understand. Some people have stories that are really intense like that and they just don't want to share them. So don't pressure anyone, but hey, if they have a story and they want to share it, we definitely want to hear it. So, all right. Before we move on to the next part of the episode, we are going to take a quick break for a commercial. I do want to say that we were reached out to by Manscaped because we've been running this wonderful promotion with them for about a month and a half to 2 months.
Yes.
They reached out and they said that we have hit a threshold, which means that rather than it being a temporary sponsorship, it could wind up becoming permanent, which is super cool. We just have to email them back and go through some numbers and some details. But I wanted to bring it up because, one, you can still use our code Scaryish for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. And two, I want to say thank you to everyone who went over to manscaped.com and used our code because they track it. And there was definitely the possibility that they said, like, hey, you didn't quite reach the threshold. Maybe next time, maybe we'll do something again in the future. But because of all the wonderful listeners and viewers who participate with things like this and promotions that were offered, we might have a shot at like a permanent sponsorship. And I just want to say thank you to everyone. So thank you so much. So,
are you going to do an actual ad for it?
I was going to say, now that out of the way, I do want to say that I use Manscaped stuff. I've been using it for years, actually way before they reached out to us. They're wonderful. I use the Lawnmower 3.0, which is great for sensitive skin.
He just started using the
nose trimmer,
the Weed Whacker.
It's called the Weed Whacker.
And he absolutely loves it. Wait, can I touch your nose?
Sure.
Well, it feels pretty good in there.
She went inside it. She said, can I touch your nose? Not can I go inside your nose? I mean, you kind of had consent. That was weird for me, though. But yeah, it's just really good stuff. I really like their slogan. It says, your balls will thank you. And they do. So
your lady balls can thank you too.
Exactly. You can use the trimmer for basically any area that has sensitive skin that you want to make sure you don't get nicks or cuts.
One of our spooky friends did say it works great for matted cats. So if you have a cat that has long hair that happens to get knotted, it's pretty good at cutting those off.
Indeed. So go to manscaped.com, check out what they have, and if you would like to pick something up, take 20% off that and get free shipping with code Scaryish, all caps, at checkout. Thank you so much to you all, and thank you so much to Manscaped for giving us this opportunity. And now we're going to go ahead and move into the normal ad break, and I think this might wind up being like a normal ad. We might need to pre-record one of these so it flows a little bit better, but hey, we did okay.
Absolutely.
So, all right, we're going to put some ads up about Meow.
You gotta click the button on the Twitch.
On the thing, on the live show, you guys know that I gotta go and do the thing and the stuff, and the YouTube people get to watch it. If you're watching live, if you're watching pre-recorded, then you're gonna get an ad too, probably. So, all right, here comes the ad. 60 seconds, maybe right now. All right. Or maybe not. Like, who the fuck knows? You could be listening to us right now. Some people get it,
some people don't. I don't know. Last week, someone was like, "You guys are boring during the ad breaks because we don't want to have anybody miss anything."
Exactly.
Nobody should miss anything, and we're normal people who have ADD. Sometimes when I get an opportunity, I'm just going to stop focusing now and just do my thing.
Basically, anytime she has a sip of alcohol in her, and then combine that with just the random times that happen on the day-to-day.
I got an ad. Hey, look at that.
Cool. Put that money back in our pocket.
Yeah.
Kapow.
Liz asked if we're doing that this Christmas too. Yeah, so you can open your stuff on Christmas Eve. Are you going to stay up till midnight with us so that we can open all our gifts at the same time? Because that would be cool. If you want to, you don't necessarily have to, but that'd be nice.
I am, well, there's 10 seconds left. I can wait 10 seconds to say this isn't just normal Adam life stuff, but my ankles are cracking just because I'm moving them. Oh, look, you can see my pajama pants. Let me scooch back. Yeah, they're Chicago Bear pajama pants I'm wearing today. I do have pants on. All right, so the 60-second ad break is up. So thank you so much to everyone who's watching us if you're still there. It's kind of weird because I don't know if it comes back to the right spot or if it catches up to live. Because I see Robin still has like 20 seconds worth of ads to go.
Yeah, who knows? I had 3 ads that time. All
right, I'm going to wait to read for another 5 seconds, and I'll do some vamping as well. I just want to share something. I've already forgotten what the fuck it was.
I don't even know what you were doing.
I mean, obviously, because I didn't say that.
What is real life?
Oh, I know what I was going to say. What I was going to say is tomorrow I have one last day of work, and then I'm off until like the 4th or 5th. I get a Christmas vacation now. It's built into my schedule. I don't have to request off, and it's pretty freaking awesome, and I'm really excited, and I'm not even sure how I'm going to process it in my brain where it's like, that's a lot of time just to spend laying around. So pretty excited about that.
You're going to start streaming Zelda again?
I probably will start streaming Zelda again. I'm also getting Cyberpunk for Christmas, I hope. So I'll probably stream that.
I did
customize my dong.
I got scared. I was like,
customize my dong to be as big as it can so it pokes out of my pants. I heard that's a fun glitch that you get in there, and then see what else happens.
You're not talking about real life?
I mean, I can't customize my dong. That God did that for me. So just gonna try and make it as realistic in the game as possible. All right, I'm gonna move over to stream chat.
Gross.
Brian says, anyone else plan on getting The Mass Effect remastered, that is on my wish list. I've never played Mass Effect. So
I've never played Mass Effect either. I really am just on that Animal Crossing bandwagon right now. I played Overwatch the other day for the first time in a really long time.
That was fun.
And it was very fun because the winter events are up right now. And May's snowball fight is probably my sister and my, like, I don't know, best game that we play. Otherwise, we lose a lot. But May's snowball fight, we're like on it, you know, because it's one shot, one kill. It's way easier.
One kill.
ASB Bunny says, I met James Marston, who
That's
is
awesome. Cyclops. Fucking with you. Keep going.
What is his actual name?
Cyclops?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Masters. James Masters.
James Masters. Okay. Marsters. That's his name.
You said Marsden, didn't you?
Marston. Yeah. Marsters is Cyclops. James Marsters.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Anyway.
She met Spike. Also Piccolo from the Dragon Ball Evolution movie, the best movie ever made.
Shut up.
You didn't know that?
Is he Piccolo?
He's fucking Piccolo.
Shut up.
That's why a lot of people are like, it might not be that bad. Like, James Marsden is pretty cool.
Anyway, so ASB Bunny met James Marsden, and when he talked about filming the scene from Torchwood where he has to make out with Jack, who is John Barrowman, he laughed at how his wife, who was directing, kept getting them both to do the scene over and over again. Oh my God, have you watched Torchwood yet?
Obviously not.
Oh my God, Torchwood.
I don't have a secret life I lead without you.
Man, Torchwood is good. I love Torchwood. Okay.
Jay Valor says to Brian, I'm thinking about it, getting it for my husband. Would it be worth it? I will get to that later. Brian says we have a rescue horse. We have to be careful with her because she tends to bite. If we move too fast around her, she rears up. She has also tried to kick my father-in-law for getting too close to her. I know horses can be temperamental, and they are very strong creatures.
Horses can be very scary. I fed some candy canes. I fed Lucas's horse candy canes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Snark says Larry has a Jack Harkness coat, and I saw them. I saw Larry dressed up as Jack Harkness at a Level Up Expo before, COVID, and his costume's really freaking good.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. His was custom made. I think that's so stinking cool.
Vale says the Adventure Zone is amazing. I totally agree. Brian says it's a graphical remaster with all the DLC, so if he enjoys the series, it would be a good gift.
Merlin Valor says COVID forced John Barrowman to grow out his hair naturally, and it is snow white with a fleck of silver fox. Wow. His hair was white, like, man, I want to say years ago already. He was already going really white, but was dyeing his hair because he was in stuff like Arrow,
right,
where he had to dye his hair for that character. So he's just so cool. I love him. He's just...
Brian says, by the way, Adam, if I ever work in a store that sells weapons, I am so going to put a ceramic squirrel in with the knives. That's fucking hilarious. That story was crazy.
The squirrel that you posted on Instagram today was awesome. Flipping people off. I was like, what the...
I was like looking for ceramic squirrels that look dangerous. I was like, this one's face looks good. And then I realized he was flipping me off. I'm like, you're the one.
Kayla Ray Reed says, Adam asking Robin if she's going to talk about the celebs she would fuck his Tiny Dancer Nation to me when I constantly bring up Pierce Brosnan any second I can. Oh, man.
It's like when you have a crush and you start working that person into every conversation for some reason. Like when someone does that with a celebrity too much, you're like, I fucking get it. Like, God.
Like, man, Chris Evans. You know what Chris Evans did today? Yes.
Not me. That's all I know. And that's a goddamn shame because Chris Evans is gorgeous. Yeah, I said Chris Evans.
Chris Evans.
Foxbat over there on YouTube says, hello, Mig here. What up, Mig?
What up?
Christina Vasquez says, hi, everyone. What up, Christina? Thank you for joining. Man, you post the best shit on Spooky Friends group, by the way. You were posting... She always posts stuff that's really sweet, which is always nice to see. And then she always...
The wholesome stuff.
She always posts really hilarious stuff, too. So when I scroll through, I'm just, like, liking everything. And then I'm realizing they're all from Christina. I'm like, fucking MVP. MVP of the Scary Spooky Friends group.
Let's see. Glitch says, got mine. Manscaped is amazing. The scripter said, I used it, and it's nice.
Nice.
ESB Bunny says, thank you, Manscaped.
Brian says, speaking of Zelda, I finally beat a Lionel. Lionel are a pain in the ass. Once you start getting powered up, though, it's this really satisfying feeling of just beating the shit out of that because it's like one of the hardest enemies in the entire game.
Laura Ann says, jelly of your time off, Adam. Everyone at my work is jelly of his time off, too.
You get time off up the wazoo.
I don't get time off. I don't get paid.
You get a bunch of days off. I said time off. I didn't say paid time off. Did I? Did you hear the word paid?
What days off do I get?
All the holidays. I mean, you used to get way more days off than I did. Not to mention you don't work on Fridays.
That's true.
All right. Brian says, wow, that glass of eggnog didn't even last 1 minute. Sadness ensued. That's hilarious. Christina says, oh, thank you, Adam. You're welcome. You deserve it. And I'm caught up on the YouTube
Radio
chats.
Man says, good evening, Robin and Adam. Hello.
Good evening.
Laura Ann says, James Marsden is Cyclops. The other is Spike. Yep. Laura Ann says, James Marsden is Spike. Yeah. There's something that we watched that had James Marsden in it recently, and I was just like, man, what happened?
I mean, we watched a trailer with James Marsden in it, and it's The Stand, because he's one of the main characters. I can't fucking wait to watch that show. It's on CBS All Access, and the first episode is out. Didn't get great reviews, but I don't give a shit, because neither did the original Stand.
James Marsden is in Sonic, right?
That's Marsden.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Cyclops. Just call him Cyclops.
Cyclops
and Spike, and we all know who each other's talking about.
And he's in 27 Dresses, too?
I've never seen 27 Dresses. How the hell should I know? Oh, God, I can't believe you've never seen this obscure movie with Captain Heigl.
You know what it is.
Of course I know what it is. I know what the movies are, just because I haven't seen it.
Obscure?
Because it's a fucking Katherine Heigl. What's the last fucking Katherine Heigl movie you remember coming out? It's not even the best Katherine Heigl movie. Exactly.
That one's good.
It's okay. What's the best? Fucking lisp is coming through. What's the best Katherine Heigl movie? The answer is Knocked Up, but I was going to see what you would say.
I was going to say The Ugly Truth.
I was thinking about Knocked Up today. I fucking love that scene. The scene where she takes him to dinner and he thinks he's going to get laid, and she tells him she's pregnant and it's his kid. And the first thing he says is like, fuck you. Wait, what? Like, it just pours out of his mouth uncontrollably, and then he has to actually behave himself and act like a human being. The part just makes me laugh every time.
Let's see. Let's see. ASB Bunny says, holy shit balls, I just looked up 2020 John Barrowman, and right now I wish he wasn't gay. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I freaking love him. He's so good. And, like, his character in Torchwood is... it's like you love his character in Doctor Who, but then he goes to do Torchwood and he gets to be this more serious character, and you get to see his character grow, and he's not just that silly guy that hits on all the companions, you know? He has his own life, he has his own story, his own problems, and it's just so awesome. He's such a good actor. He's good in Arrow too. He's a lovable bad guy.
Yeah, that's a good description. Who just always comes back somehow.
Yeah, he always comes back. Oh, man.
Brian says, another movie that's going on to the list. LOL, right.
What? 27 Dresses.
Christina says, Cyclops was in Enchanted and Hairspray the movie. Good to know. I know how 27 Dresses ends because someone had to run and tell me like immediately when it came out. And I was like, that's cool. That's ironic. Yeah, I get it. So, yeah, fun stuff. So, yeah, I'm caught up on YouTube.
All right. That
fucking eggnog. Maybe you should just leave it regular boozy from now on.
The scriptery says 27 Dresses is so good. It's pretty good. It's not bad. I like it. All right. Is it your turn to read?
No, it's your turn to get back to your email.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha. Jay Valor says, Barrowman was on QI, a British quiz show, and sings shuttlecock at a woman. Shuttlecock is my favorite word. That's hilarious.
You know what a shuttlecock is, right?
Yeah, it's the thing that you hit with the badminton thing.
Yeah.
Or no, that's a birdie.
No,
is it
a
shuttlecock too? Either way, let's go ahead and get back into your email. I'll mark it. You give us that wonderful we're back from ad transition, and then going back into my email transition, and then we'll, do it.
Thank you so much for sticking around past that ad. Welcome back to the other side and to the other side of this story. So we're going to read the next story here from their dad, which is so cool. We're going to get there. Gonna
get through this one step at a time.
All I hear now is that song. It's like
I knew you were gonna hear a fucking song. That's why I didn't go any further.
Okay, fine. All right. So this story is partly my dad's and partly mine. Hence, more details. My dad's Mexican and very Catholic, and always told me to be more afraid of the living than the dead, which is why his skeptic stories were always so much scarier than my mom's genuine believer stories.
It's kind of the running theme on the show The Walking Dead also. Like, the humans are the actual monsters.
And Rick,
The Witcher.
Rick always has to ask them, like, how many have you killed, Yeah,
the 3 questions, I can't remember what they are anymore because I haven't watched it in a long time, but yeah. Lots of shows have that theme so people understand humans are dangerous.
Yep. The email continues. Don't worry, Pops. I listen to true crime and paranormal podcasts, so I have a healthy
You're good.
fear of both. My dad grew up in a tiny town in Jalisco, Mexico, which is the state that created tequila. You're welcome. We've been there.
Have we?
Yeah.
No, we have.
Yep.
Nice. Go us.
Go us. In the late 90s, early aughts, my parents bought a house in his hometown, and we spent most of our summers there for a few years. The town is mostly cobblestone streets removed from the main highway by a tiny winding road that is about 10 miles long. I gave it a goog when I was writing this.
A goog.
I gave it a Jeeves. No. And the population now, 20 years later, is still under 3,700. The small was so small and tight-knit that the first time we visited, we arrived at 3:30 p.m. And when my mom and I went to the store for food at 4, the neighborhood ladies not only knew who we were, but also knew our names because they had heard my dad was back.
Aw, that's sweet.
I am choosing to believe that he was so popular because of his winning personality and not because he was some kind of man slut.
Wow. Don't man slut shame.
I mean, my dad too. He's a man slut.
Whoa, dude. Marking that so when Sober You comes back, you can let me know if you want me to leave it in.
Oh, no, you don't. No, just cut that out. My sister's probably sitting there like, no, yeah, that's true. Anyway. The town was situated on a few small hills, so when you went downtown, you literally went downtown. You would descend the first hill, come across the church and plaza, then would ascend a subsequent would ascend a subsequent hill, and it took about 20 minutes to walk across the whole town. It was a sweet, friendly, sleepy little town where the only crime was the layered, popped, collared polos the American kids would wear around in the summer. The early aughts, remember? I don't know. I'm trying to think of early 2000s, and I don't remember a lot of pop collars.
There was a lot of pop collars.
Were there?
Yep, fuck
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
I graduated in 2003, so early aughts to me is anything between 2000 and 2005, and I cannot tell you how many pop collars I saw. And most people acted like they were doing it ironically. They weren't. They were just a douchebag. If you popped your collar, I'm not saying you were a douchebag. People I knew that were doing it, quote-unquote, ironically were douchebags.
You just gotta keep it to popping bottles in the ice.
I hate you so fucking much.
Continuing on.
Getting slizzard.
Continuing on. So picture it. It's the summer of the year 2001, or maybe 2000. You only packed your coolest Lizzie McGuire-esque outfits. Holy crap, do I feel attacked right now.
That's funny.
Oh, man. And you are the popular cousin because you managed to save enough of your allowance money to bring a Costco-sized box of baby bottle pops.
Nice.
To share with everyone. In short, it was an idyllic summer where I got to read books in the sun and run around with my cousins until our parents yelled for us to come home long after sunset. Our little Scooby gang would get into all sorts of mischief. The number of flying chonklas. The number of flying chonklas we dodged that summer was inspiring. It was an even split with 3 boys and 3 girls. My cousin Miguel was the only one who lived in town and knew all of the people and most of the stories, at least as much as is appropriate for a kid. Our ages ranged from about 10 to 12 this particular summer, and the boys would pick on us girls constantly, and we would often return home to our parents sad and disheartened. This came to a head the night they told me that my parents had purchased a haunted house.
Oh, shit.
The house my parents had bought was ancient, and they eventually tore it down and rebuilt. However, what they didn't tell me was that the previous owner died in the house. Not only in the house, but her room was where my room was now. My cousins went on and on about how the spirit of this old woman wouldn't like me living on her turf, and it scared the crap out of me. After a couple of sleepless nights plagued by thoughts of ghost ladies and scorpions crawling in my bed, which was a legitimate concern, I asked my parents if I could sleep on the floor of their room. Okay, if you're afraid of getting bitten by or stung by a scorpion, why would you want to sleep on the floor? I feel like that's just like easy access.
I was going to say, it's kind of a foolish decision because when you're elevated and there's only like 4 legs in the bed to get you up there, unless you're like blanket hung down to the floor, it's a way easier way to get you to a scorpion, which just seems like a foolish way to go.
No, man. My dad asked what was wrong, and I told him about the quote-unquote ghosts. He was not pleased, and the next time he saw my cousin, he explained how stupid he was to think our house was haunted, when he was the one who has spirits outside his window. So the cousin is the one whose house has spirits outside his window.
Okay, gotcha.
All right. So my cousin lived on the other side of town from us and was one of the last houses before the road ended, and you ran into a hilly countryside on the left and a small dirt path on the right. The footpath would lead you to a tiny little graveyard where most of the locals were buried. If you opened the shutters from Miguel's room, you could see the front gate and the tops of some of the larger headstones and mausoleums. That would scare me, I think. Not creepy at all. So my dad asked, how is it that you think our house is haunted when all the ghosts would have to go through your house to get here? Miguel replied, I don't know what you're talking about. The graveyard's not haunted. It's where people go to rest. My dad then tells us about how not only is it haunted, but the spirits of the people who are laid to rest there. I don't know how I just read that. My dad then tells us about how not only is it haunted by the spirits of the people who are laid to rest there, but he remembers being in my uncle's house as a young man, and one night he heard the wailing of a woman. La Llorona vibes, just saying.
Seriously, again, she's back. Guess who's back? Back again.
Oh, duh.
La Llorona.
In the in the beginning of this email, they say how it's like La Llorona-esque.
Right.
Okay. So I mentioned that the town was off of the main highway, and the only way to get to it is a serpentine road that connects the town to civilization. This area of Mexico is prone to rain, which makes this road beautiful, lush, and green, but it also makes this road treacherous. The story goes that a woman was taking her children into the bigger town nearby to see a doctor after her youngest woke up with an excruciating stomach ache. She was speeding down the road and went off an embankment. Her children died when they were thrown from the car, or maybe a horse or buggy. I'm not sure how old this legend is. She died from her injuries while searching for her children in the muddy hillside. Legend has it you can still hear her calling out to her kids on rainy nights. Sounds like a lot like La Llorona, no? Yeah, it does sound like La Llorona.
It does.
It definitely does. And the fact that your dad heard like wailing, it just makes me feel like it definitely is.
Stay inside.
On Saturdays, the town puts on little parties in the plaza and everyone shows up. There's a patio, bar/restaurant where the adults gather, a sweets shop where the kids get pumped on sugar, and the teens flirt awkwardly in the plaza.
Nice.
My dad was at one of these parties on a rainy Saturday, and in lieu of showing up tipsy to my older Tia's house and getting a lecture, he went to his cousin's house, where my cousin Miguel now lives, to sleep off the buzz. He was just about to fall asleep when he heard wailing coming from the direction of the graveyard behind the house. Most of my dad's family is buried in the graveyard, and in his drunken state, he thought, shit, it's my grandma, and she's pissed at my drinking. Instead of being worried about the ghost of his grandmother wandering the graveyard, instead of, being at rest, my father was worried about catching a chancla to the face. The power of the chancla is eternal. My mom's never hit me with, flip-flop.
It's a Latin thing for sure.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Chanclas are very dangerous weapons. So.
It is just a flip-flop, right?
Yeah, it's a flip-flop.
Okay.
So, or as you would call them, slippers, which is just
I
so
know.
weird.
In Hawaii, we just call them slippers. When I moved to the continental U.S., and they were like, they're called flip-flops because slippers are what you wear around the house. I'm like, you wear slippers around the house? What?
Slippers are the products known as slippers.
Anyway. He took a peek out the window and saw a woman with long dark hair dressed in white wandering the area by the footpath when he realized she was floating. He closed his eyes and prayed to all the saints he could think of until he looked out again and didn't see anything. My cousins instantly called bull on this story, and my dad said, quote, fine, next time it rains, why don't the boys have a sleepover at your haunted house and the girls will have a sleepover at our house, and we'll see if anything happens. If I'm wrong, the girls will do your chores for a week and vice versa, end quote. We all agreed, and about a week later, it rained all day, but let up a bit at night. The family gathered for dinner, and my dad reminded us of our bet, and we all excitedly chatted about who would experience more haunted activity. I just feel like it's definitely going to be the one next to the graveyard.
This seems like a premise for a movie. Like,
It
which
sounds
one
like
of
a
you will
good
be more
movie.
haunted?
Also, okay, I'll talk about it after. Anyway, the girls' sleepover was uneventful. There were no ghost sightings. But when breakfast was over the next morning and it was the usual time, we would go off and play. The boys walked up, tired and visibly frazzled. They were home alone in the evening the night before because my aunt was with my mom at our super cool sleepover.
It's funny.
They were pretending they weren't drinking margaritas while teaching us to dance. And the boys were at their sleepover doing whatever not as fun stuff that boys do at sleepovers. When they heard the wailing, they listened intently while this voice cried out into the hills. The oldest boy was voted to look, and when he did, he saw a woman near the graveyard in all white.
Now, can you imagine if this is just a prank that's ongoing and someone picks it up randomly at random times? Will you go to a river or a graveyard dressed in white and just scream for hours? Like, how much dedication would you have to have that prank just keep living on? Because the other alternative is it's a person that's not doing it as a prank, that's just been in distress for a very long time, or it's a ghost. And I feel like the least exhausting, I should say, is the fact that it's a ghost, but that's just me.
Some animals sound like they're wailing, though, too.
Some of them, yeah, but if you're seeing a person accompanying the wailing, then it's a little bit different.
Very true. All right. They listened intently while the voice cried out into the hills. I already read that. Oldest boy looked into saw a woman. She had long, ratty hair and was draped in a shawl and veil. She cried out, "Miss Hijos?" No, I can't. I don't know that phrase. Hold on.
Can you point it out to me?
This one.
I don't know. I can barely read it. It's so small. Mis hijos?
Yeah. That's what she shouted out. And that made the other boys want to look. And when they did, she turned to look right at them. They slammed the shutters closed and hid. When suddenly they heard the laughter of children. And the other shutters around the house started closing on their own. Fuck that.
It's like, that sounds like she's calling out her kids, right? Is that just me? I'm not sure because I don't know the direct translation. I apologize. I'm ignorant. I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Man, my dad would be disappointed in me right now. But you didn't teach me, old man. This is on you.
The snark says my sons or my kids. That's what it means.
Yeah, I was going to say, it sounds like my kids to me.
All right. So all the shutters start closing on their own. They sat huddled together until they no longer heard the cries and got brave enough to check again. She was gone. As my cousins recounted this story, we all nodded along when my dad looked at me and said, quote, "I told you. I knew that dress would look white in the moonlight." End quote. The boys stared at me and my long wavy hair when it finally clicked. That's right, friends. 'Twas I that night.
Fucking
not some
called
ghostly
it.
woman. That's hilarious.
I fucking called it.
I was the tallest, so I got the part of La Llorona. I had put on my longest dress. It was light blue, and I thought it would be a giveaway, and wrapped myself in my aunt's doilies and wandered around outside the house, quote-unquote wailing, into the night until they heard me. We made sure to stop by the neighbor's house before and told them our plan so they wouldn't get spooked.
You know what I picture you sounding like? I don't know if you can picture a sound. Have you ever seen that video of the deer from the Nara Deer Sanctuary when it screams because the person won't give it a crack? It's like, like in the top of its lungs. I imagine that's you outside this house for like hours waiting for someone to come look.
Oh, man. Okay, so we made sure to stop by the neighbor's house before and told them our plan so they wouldn't get spooked. They were very much amused and in on the joke, as was my aunt, who almost let it slip when she came home post-margarita.
That's so fucking
My
funny.
other cousins were the ding-dongs who couldn't stop giggling, the laughter that they heard. They were the ones to slam the shutters closed around the house before they scurried down the hill to meet at our rendezvous point, the sweets shop at the plaza. When all the shutters were closed, I ran over to my dad, who, thank God, had the foresight of not leaving me alone in a graveyard at night. We shuffled down the hill where my cousins were waiting for us and grabbed an ice cream before calling it a night. That sounds fun. How the boys, one, didn't also think to prank us, and two, were able to spot my quote-unquote ratty hair, rude, and not my rain boots, I will never know.
Rude.
My dad has always been a prankster and is a really great storyteller, so he knew he wanted to help us when I started losing sleep over a haunting that just wasn't happening. The girls had been planning to try and scare the boys with La Llorona for a while, but we knew it wouldn't work because there was no river nearby, which is a common thread in almost all of the La Llorona stories. That's where my dad comes in. He told us the original legend of the lady in white who haunts the road into town. While there is actually a local legend of a woman who died on a rainy night on her way to see a doctor, there were never any children involved. The most compelling part of this local story is that there is proof of a woman dying on the road into town, and she's even buried in that little graveyard I mentioned. The legend actually goes that she haunts the road on rainy nights. She hitchhikes and rides in the back seat or bed of a truck until you pass the point at which she died, when she just disappears. That's sad, because it's like
the hitchhiker ghost.
You'll never get there. You'll never get to your destination.
Right.
That's so sad. My dad claims that this has happened to him and my Tio on separate occasions, but he does love a tall tale, so it's your call on if you believe him or not. My dad's story of hearing her by the graveyard, however, was absolutely full of crap, but he was tired of them picking on us, and he does enjoy a good scare. Don't feel too bad for those boys, though. My dad bought them treats, no one did extra chores that week, and we still laugh about it. We became a lot closer, and while we still played pranks on each other and teased each other, it was never quite as scary. I have asked Miguel many times if he ever actually experienced anything while living close to that graveyard, and he says he heard the gates rattling and what sounded like crying sometimes, but he's only ever seen a La Chiona, or crybaby, which is what he called me. Rude. Once.
That's funny. Good joke.
And has never seen anything else. I thought this story would give you a giggle, and if 2020 needs anything, it is extra giggles. I'm still working my way through your backlog and just wanted to thank you again for putting on this great podcast. I listen when I work, and since I am working from home for the foreseeable future, you two are my coworkers now. That's cute. I wanted to give you a kind of odd compliment and figured this would be a good place to do it, so here it goes. I love the way you both explain certain things, specifically the things that, for those of us who grew up in the U.S., consider common knowledge or have a general understanding of. It never seems judgmental or weird, but more of like, if you don't know this thing, here's the context, which is really nice. As is obvious by these stories, I am a child of immigrants and grew up seeing how a person can be made to feel quote-unquote othered or less than for not knowing something they quote-unquote should, and it sucks. Sometimes people don't bother explaining things at all or do it in a way that makes a person feel stupid, and you don't do that, so thank you. Also, I've never felt more seen than when Robin talked about having to translate things for her parents' business. Girl, same. Like, sure, I'm 12 years old. Totes let me talk to this random person on the phone so they can explain the legal jargon in these contracts to me. Oh my god. Oh yeah, totally relate. I hated it at that time, but I kind of love it now. It definitely taught me a lot. So if you see me translating legal documents from English to Spanish in the special skills on my resume, mind your business. All this to say, y'all are great, and I hope you can keep doing what you do. I will try to write to you again soon. Happy holidays, and stay spooky, pals. Erica. P.S. Hey, Spooky Mom, I appreciate you.
Aw.
That's cute.
That was excellent.
That was a bunch of really good stories. I think that
I started to get the feeling like, man, this could be an elaborate prank. Like, if you have all these ladies together, why wouldn't you just prank these assholes? So, god damn it, that was funny. That was so good. Man,
I never got to prank, when I was younger. We just didn't do that.
I did.
When we did sleepovers, it was 4 girls sleeping over, or 5 girls sleeping over and just chilling. It just wasn't anything crazy.
Pranking is fun. It just, you don't want to take it too far. You know what I mean? And that's just like the perfect wholesome thing where like they have a night of terror, which they deserve for being jerks. And then eventually they get let on in the joke where it's like, nah, it's just us, dog. And they can calm down about it. So that was excellent. And yeah, thank you for the compliment. We do try and make sure, because like, my dad's Puerto Rican, Robin's parents are Vietnamese, so it's like we want people to understand like the context of something just because they're not from here, and it's nice to know that is appreciated, because sometimes I wonder if people are like, yeah, we get it, like just fucking get to it, dog. And then I sometimes wonder if that's how it is like for people that aren't from the U.S. Like, yeah, we get it, man. Like, not everyone that's outside the U.S. doesn't know what you're talking about, but it's nice to hear that. So.
Yeah, we try to, I don't know, imbue knowledge. We're because a lot of the times we're learning new stuff at the same time. And when I bring up, like, in case you didn't know, it's because I didn't know. Because I didn't know while I was researching, and I just learned that. And I think it's cool to kind of be like, I didn't know this. You guys, if you maybe you didn't know too. I'm freaking 31, and there's stuff that I'm learning every single week when we do all this stuff. So it's pretty cool.
I agree. I do the same thing. And sometimes it's like, hey, I have this random factoid in my brain, and maybe you don't know it, so maybe I can actually give it a purpose for once. So it's nice to either share those or learn something and then share that with you folks too. So either way, thank you so much for sending that in. So here's what I'm thinking. It's already 8. That was a really long story. It's a really good story. And my last one is super short. So it would make more sense to me to save this one until next week.
Cool.
So if you want to do that, because usually we split long stories in half and we only do 3. Then I'll just edit out the beginning where I'm like, we're going to have 4. So just pretend like you didn't fucking hear that. And then we can move on to marbles. But first, we're going to read your YouTube chat. Then I'm going to get marbles on stream set up. It's a way for you wonderful folks to win some merchandise at the end of the show. All you have to do is go over to twitch.tv/Scaryish Podcast and type in a couple of commands, and it will get you a marble on stream.
Kayla Ray reads, redeemed a high five, so let's high five.
Ow.
Ouch.
All right, scrolling.
That hurt my fingertips.
Well, I usually hold still and you slap the shit out of me, so... the birdie is also called the shuttlecock. Badminton is my jam, says Brian. Cool, good to know. I don't know why you're holding your hand out like that.
My hand hurts.
Oh, so you're just going to hold it up like that? This is what I do when my hand hurts. It's just odd. Scrolling, Christina Vasquez says, never trust the living. Brian says, what do we call Robin's parents on the show? Spawners of the Dark Queen. I replied to this one and says, best not to nickname them. Let Robin take care of that, I would say. Bad Comic Reviews says, Scorpions or Ghosts? Tough decision. Brian said, big old nope to Scorpions. I don't even choose Scorpion in Mortal Kombat just to be safe. Which is super funny. Jay Valor says, La Chancla when you're a kid, but it was La Bota when I got older. The boot. Of my Harley riding old man. That sounds dangerous.
I feel like in this day and age, like being Scorpion in the social distancing world is a little bit harder because he's always just yelling, get over here.
Yeah, it's like, no, whoa. 6 feet, dog.
Yeah.
Samantha says, hi, Robin and Adam. What up?
Hello.
Thank you for joining us, Samantha. Christina says, what are y'all's favorite holiday treats? Man, I don't even know.
My coworker makes these delicious, like sweet graham cracker, chocolate covered treats, and they're the highlight of every Christmas.
I like Reese's Christmas trees. Realistically, my favorite holiday treats are like my normal treats, which is just like, it's one of the few times in the year that I'm going to get like a fruit roll up or a fruit by the foot. And I usually get like Sour Patch Kids because I love all that shit. Brian says eggnog milkshake or hot spiced cider.
Eggnog milkshake sounds good.
Christina says that sounds delicious.
The toasted white chocolate milk at Starbucks. I get that at least 5 times every winter.
It's not particularly a holiday, but anytime the Italian chicken sandwich is back at Burger King, I love that.
The McRib is back at McDonald's.
So fucking gross.
I just had one.
If you don't know what an Italian chicken sandwich is, it's the original chicken sandwich from Burger King. It's the oblong football-shaped one with mozzarella cheese and marinara sauce put on it, like piping hot so it melts it. It's basically a chicken parmesan sandwich, which they used to have like just regularly there. And they got rid of it because someone was like, oh, did you hear that Adam guy really likes this sandwich? I was like, fucking kill it. So, anyways,
is this? Where is this? Burger King?
Burger King, yeah.
Wow.
It's really good. I love it. Anyways, Christina says to Brian, that sounds delicious. Brian says, of course, my favorite treat of all is the loving embrace of my wife.
Aww.
That's not a holiday treat, though. That's an
all-the-time
treat. Exactly. Brian says, and she's asleep. Guess no brownie points. Christina says, that's super sweet. Samantha says, Oreo balls, hands down. And Bad Comic Reviews says, Sub-Zero and Scorpion were wearing masks before it was cool.
That's a good
joke. All right, that is taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and get marbles
too, right?
set up. Reptile was. Smoke also was.
Dude, I always
Melina
loved getting...
and Katana both also wore masks.
Getting
Melina to hide
Smoke
her.
to show up in Mortal Kombat 2.
I was like, oh shit, there he is.
Yeah.
Melina, because she has a horrible, like...
disfigured meal.
Yeah, she has like
it's because she's like a demon, right? Or like a monster.
I can't remember why she looks like that. I'm not up on my Mortal Kombat lore anymore.
I don't know anything about the lore. All I know is her mouth looks a lot like Baraka's mouth.
Yeah. All right. Let's do this thing. You go ahead and read your stuff.
Alrighty. So Laura Ann says, holy shit, baby bottle pops. Yo, my dad used to buy me baby bottle My dad used to buy me baby bottle pops whenever we went out like to a gas station or something. I would always want to buy one. Let's see.
You'd want to buy one baby bottle pop?
Yep. I'm Beef Trainer says, the only thing I can figure is that Brian's phone and mine is an Android and mine is an Apple, and our carrier just took over another carrier, and there's something wonky going on with the antennas.
That could be.
I don't know. My phone is a Samsung.
It's really hard to diagnose stuff like this because there's just no telling what has gone wrong.
Yeah. ASB Bunny says that they call flip-flops thongs.
I've heard that before, actually.
Da 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 la 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 da 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 da. I'm just growing through. The Snark says, when Larry and I got our first place together, I put my foot down on not having shoes in the house. I called him an animal when he forgot to take shoes off.
Keep the change, you filthy animal.
Growing up, it was like you take your shoes off before you go into the house.
I had so many friends growing up who would keep their shoes on even when they slept. And I was like, you're fucking dirty. Take your shoes off. It's bizarre to me.
Nick does that.
I know, and it's fucking crazy. And it wasn't just because he was drunk. Type an exclamation point vote, space, then the number that corresponds to the track you want to race. Recently, my friend came to visit me. We went out to the bar. He was like, let's try some IPAs. I was like, all right. Forgetting he's like 130 pounds soaking wet. He's probably more than that. He's tall. He's my height. He's very skinny.
Maybe 160.
And we fucking pounded beers. And then we went home. And I realized after like an hour of him drinking beer, he just started to slump more and more and more. So we got home. He's like, I'm just going to lay down and fall asleep. And he crashed on the couch with his shoes on. She was like, are his shoes on?
Yeah, I'm just like, why the fuck are his shoes
He's drunk. But realistically, he was my friend who we would hang out in the house, in his house, and he would have shoes on. Then he'd lay down to fall asleep on his bed, and he'd just sleep on the top of the bed, fully clothed, with his shoes on. And I'd be like, this guy is a fucking serial killer. Like, I don't know what's happening right now, but it's crazy. So I'd be like, oh, it's bedtime? Fucking boxers. And I'd just lay down wherever I was, like, assigned to sleep. Like, yep, this is how it's happening.
When I lived in Texas, we would go to, like, Temple, and to go into any of the buildings, you take your shoes off before you go into the building. So you would be just in this tiny little house-like building, and outside the door would be like 100 fucking pairs of shoes. And you're like, well, I guess I'll find my shoes later, you know? It's just so funny because they're not organized. They're just all tossed into a pile in front of the door. And it's just so funny. But shoes off, definitely. Plus, like, if you have white carpet, come on, keep your carpet clean.
Exactly.
All right.
Snark says, shoes in bed, gross.
Tiny Dancer Nation says, ASL is the easiest language to pick up as an adult, and I would be surprised how often you will use it. I just know how to spell, and maybe, like, 5 words. Is that actually ASL?
I think it is, because I remember the movie... what is it called? Meet the Fockers. They're teaching the baby ASL to like
or is
learn
it like
to speak.
baby ASL?
I don't think they have baby specific ASL. I think it's just ASL. And so like he can tell people like I need to shit. So I was just like, oh, I'm gonna start doing that when I need to poop. I don't know. Someone can let me know that knows
I don't know.
ASL.
I took ASL in high school and I was not good at it, man. I was disappointed in myself. I took Japanese when I was in school in Hawaii, and so when I moved to Texas, they don't have Japanese. You just got to take what they got to give you. So I took ASL. My sister took German instead of Japanese, and it's just like you're forced to do these things that you're not comfortable with.
Back at a good old Boone Grove High School, we had Spanish and French, and they were both taught by people who barely spoke that language. That was it.
Whoa!
That's all we were offered.
I think we had in our school in Texas, we had French, German, Spanish. Maybe there was Italian, ASL.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and go
how
to.
Can there only be 2 languages?
I'm gonna go to because they don't care back in Indiana. Like if you speak a different language, it just is required for you to graduate. The teachers cared, but like just so many people were like, we don't care. Anyways, the lucky few. I wasn't one of those, by the way. I was like, oh, I'm gonna take Spanish because I really want to learn it, and my dad won't teach it to me. And it was very difficult. And the teacher was like not a bad teacher, but she didn't know nearly enough for me to actually start speaking it or have the passion to like learn. You know what I mean? Like when you start actually developing a taste for a subject and you're like, I want to learn more about this independently. It never clicked. Anyways, Lucky Few is our track with 3 votes. On average, it takes 2 minutes and 41 seconds. The record time is 1 minute and 40. Local stats, we raced this in about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, and Mondo Alba holds the record in 1 minute and 55. Let's get in there.
Nice.
And get this thing a-going.
Oh, wow, there's milestone marbles? That's cool.
Exclamation point play to join the race.
I'm What's Her Name says, my high school only offered French or Spanish.
Same.
ASB Bunny says, I taught myself Korean. It is not a useful language in my region. Geeky Gorgeous says, I'm trying to learn Korean. I really want to learn Korean, but I want to get well at Japanese first before I try to learn another hard writing language.
Are you going to join?
Yeah, sure.
All right, we're up to 13 marbles right now. Kind of low, but we get it. It's the holiday season. Lucifer Sandwich says, I work in retail and I get a few deaf guests every now and then, but ASL comes in quite handy, except so many people are rude to them for no reason. That is awful. We used to work in retail, and I don't know ASL, so I used to have conversations with folks writing stuff down on pieces of paper and going back and forth, because that's the only thing that I knew how to do. I had a worker that interviewed for her job. She got the job, and then later on we had a Spanish-speaking customer come in, and I was like trying to do the best I could, and she asked me, like, do you want me to take care of them? I was like, do you know Spanish? She's like, yeah. And she spoke it fluently, and she never mentioned it in her job interview because she had been told by people growing up to not speak Spanish. Like, she'd been picked on for it. And it was her first language. And I told her, like, never, ever do that again. Like, put it on your resume because it's very important for people to know that you speak another language. All right, I wanted to also point out, Lucifer Sandwich says, I just noticed all the stickers on Robin's iPad case, and I love them to bits.
I'm like, wait, what do I have?
So many. All right.
I like my derpy Snorlax. I think that's my favorite because that's totally me half the time.
We're off to the races. The Scriptory is in first place, chasing Mondo Alba's Ghost Ball, the record-setting pace, while the rest of us are still trying to make it through the Plinko machine.
The Scriptory is just fucking
Some of us
it.
have. Some of us, a lot of us have not. A lot of us are pretty fucking just... We don't have a chance unless some people in the front fall off, is what I'm trying to say here. So let's go ahead and follow whoever's in first place. Scriptory made it down first, but she didn't make it out first. Robin did.
Woo!
There's Robin waving at everyone. Hey, look at my sexy knees.
Well, what does my knees have to... Oh, the picture. I get it. My knees are all right.
This is a lot of zigzagging, but you're doing pretty well. There's those slow throbbing rods that don't launch you. They just slow you down. A lot of us are starting to make our way through there. In fact, I think there's a big chunk of folks that might have a chance at catching up. Robin and the Scriptory are being challenged by ASB Bunny and David, along with a Snark right behind them and Glitch following up. But Robin is still in the lead with David hot on her trail. Mondo Alba's Ghost Ball seems like they're in pretty good shape holding this record because they're way freaking ahead. It's weird that this thing has like cracks in it because I don't think anyone ever falls. David, however, did just take the lead and going into the elevator. We'll see if that holds out. It says you have 20 energy. I wonder what the hell that means. ASB Bunny just took a perfect line through that fan blade and has actually gotten in front of Mondo Alba's record-setting pace as long as they can hold out and not fall off the map right now, which they did. That's a shame. Here comes
I'm
Robin.
winning. Oh, no, wait, there's still
You're
way
now
more.
winning because ASB Bunny fell off. But yeah, there's still a lot to go. Oh yeah, that's right. Mondo Alba skipped this thing because they got hit by these super fast pulsating rods. Ew, this is a dangerous minefield for you. Girl Panic says, fuck that, and cruises right on through. It's a wonderful picture you have. And it's going to try and make it out of the lotto ball as fast as possible. This is one that people can really get stuck in forever, so this is going to give us a chance to catch up. Anyone who was holding, or like way far back there. Geeky Gorgeous has made their way through Robin as well. The scripter says, well, fuck this game, and jumps off the edge. And it looks like Geeky Gorgeous might...
Did anyone message us from last week?
Yes, definitely took the win. I don't know. So Geeky Gorgeous, congratulations. Type in ! merch. It'll bring up a link, and if you click that, go to Robin's Quiet Corner, check out any of the Scaryish stickers, and if you email storytime@scaryish.com and say, this is the one I want, by just pasting a link, or saying it's named this, and a good mailing address, we will send it out to you with our congratulations and thank you for playing. We're going to watch as the rest of the folks trickle in and see who falls off. There's not a whole lot of people left, and it looks like Kayla Ray and actually Faison are the only two, and they're in the lotto ball, and hopefully we'll be getting out soon before the blue wave of death approaches.
ASB Bunny says, haven't messaged you guys from 2 weeks ago. Is it okay to still do that? Yeah, just email us.
Yeah, dog, yeah.
Laura Ann says, some middle-aged guy told me I had sexy knees once. It was weird. I was 21 at the time. He's probably like in his 50s. Nope.
That's a weird thing to say.
Yeah, because I feel like knees have such... There's connotation behind that.
Yes, there is.
All right.
All right, actually, Faison made it out of the lotto ball and has completed, and no one will be killed by the blue wave of death today. Congratulations, Geeky Gorgeous, going up to 6 points on the season. Robin's at 9. Girl Panic's at 9. Tiny Dancer Nation is at 7. We got 4 for me, 4 for Glitch, 2 for Iron Beef Trainer. David moves up to 8, and no one else changed. So I'm What's Your Nerd still sitting pretty at 8, and we'll see.
I'm winning at 9. Oh, wait, with Girl Panic at 9.
Geeky Gorgeous says, woo, thank you guys. Also, at ASB Bunny, my boyfriend told me to learn the alphabet first, and I also heard learning how to write it first. as well will help with speaking Korean. Interesting.
I just like to look at all the pretty Korean boys. I was like...
All right, go ahead and type in exclamation point vote, then a space, the number that corresponds to your track you want to race while Robin explains her obsession.
Adam and I were just joking about it earlier because, like, the name Ephraim would be so cute.
We like the name Ephraim. It's very heavily in the Jewish backgrounds, and we're, both of us, not Jewish.
But it's such a good name.
But it's a really good name. We're like, well, we want to use that for a name for a kid. And I was like, let's wait till the kid is born or at least
we'll
conceived.
See what, like, because when you look at your kid when they're born, you're like, no, you look like a so-and-so.
Right.
And so I was joking. I was like, yeah, you never know. Maybe they'll come out and we'll be like, no, you look like a Heijin. And Adam's like, maybe they'll look like a Jimin. And I was just like, oh, God.
You've done this to me. You've made me this way.
Oh man. What if our kids do look like a Jimin? I don't know.
What's wrong with that? There's
nothing wrong with that. Then we'll just name our kid Jimin.
Exactly. All right, we got a lot of votes for 57, so we might get to the bottom. We have 6 votes. I'll let it scroll past one more time so we can get all the votes in. I'm not one for stopping the count. And we'll most likely be racing Marble's Diner, but we'll make sure that the democratic process plays out before we call the race.
ASB Bunny says Jimin is a boy and girl name.
Nice. Good to know.
I just know in America, anyway, that if we named our girl Jimin, people would be like, your name's Jim. And they would just bully her entire childhood.
Kids are awful human beings.
They are awful human beings.
Even if they have good parents, kids can be awful human beings. I knew someone who's like just the nicest person in the world. Her fiance was the nicest person in the world. Her daughter seemed nice, but she bullied all the kids at school.
Really?
And no one could figure out why. Yeah, they're like, we did not raise her like this. We don't know like why she behaves this way. There's no one enabling this behavior, and she gets punished all the time for it. But it was like she just felt power at school bullying other kids, and sometimes it just happens. Like, kids can be monsters. Like Charles Manson. Like, I did the Charles Manson thing. That kid was a monster at 5 years old, and that sucks. Like, it's just weird. Some people are like just a little bit different than the rest. I'm not saying if your kid's mean when they're a child, then they're going to grow up to be Charles Manson, but hey, he was mean.
And Western says, I just remembered I forgot to message you guys twice from months ago. That's okay. I'd rather give you guys monies for products to support your craft. Thank you so much. That's so nice of you.
All right, it's going to be Marble's Diner. Average time, 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Record time, 1:05. What the fuck? Local stats, 2 minutes and 50 seconds for us. Record time, of course, it's Robin at 1:58.
Geeky Gorgeous says the boys of BTS are super pretty. They are super pretty. I like RM. He's my favorite. Let's see.
Exclamation point play to join the race.
Oh my gosh. So apparently you can have a Korean name. Chunkster says my Korean name is Jiun, and ASB Bunny says mine is Hyorin. In Japanese they just make your name, and then they make you write it in Japanese. You don't get a cool Korean name or like a cool Japanese name like I don't know. My name's Sakura now. You know? It's like, no, your name's your name.
Interesting. Good to know.
Yeah, I think that's really cool that if you take Korean, they're like, here's your Korean name. That's neat. I don't know.
Don't forget to type in exclamation point play as Robin has done. It's the last race of the night. We have 15 marbles so far. Let's see if we can get a few more than that. We're going to go ahead and have this one be our final one of the night. I can already see some really pretty 80s colors going on this board, so I'm kind of excited to see what the rest of it looks like. It's supposed to be a diner, so kind of intrigued to see what that's going to turn out to be.
The Snark says Larry's Japanese name is Neri or Rary. Yeah.
That's funny.
Because there's no L's.
What would my name be?
Adam. Aden, maybe.
Nice.
Or Adamu, maybe.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
Like
my friend, his name's Rothman, and I always call him Rasmussen or something. Rosu. Snark says many people were so confused. That's funny.
All right, it drops now. We have the Plinko machine and ooh, neon lights. This one actually looks pretty cool. Looks like Lich is the first one to make it down with a lot of people catching up. Cursed Wolf is in the lead. But again, he just actually cleared a few people, but then ran into the third spinner thing. A lot of folks did. There's Robin's record-setting pace. I don't remember racing this one. We must have been really fucked up that night.
I don't think I've ever raced this one.
That's your ghost ball right there. Maybe they just changed the track a little bit.
Yeah, they changed how the track looks.
That usually resets the records, though. But I don't know. So we're just going to play it out and see what happens.
Winter Girl says Oreo balls are crushed up Oreos, cream cheese mixed together, and then you roll into a ball and dip in chocolate. That sounds delicious.
It does sound delicious.
You want to get ice cream after that?
No, I don't. I also like to point out, first place is me. Suck it, y'all. Robin's record-setting pace is back there. The snark is back there. I don't understand why we're all moving so fucking slow. But
Stairs.
Here we go. Coming down some stairs. They're very bouncy.
This is going to take you into light speed.
Oh, shit. It's not light speed. It's a fucking rave. It's so far zoomed out, it won't let me zoom in now. But I am bouncing all around in this bitch.
It is a rave. Man, look at that. It's more like a disco.
Okay, Robin's taking back her lead with her record-setting pace. I'm trying to just get some
Are those
rods
holes you can get in?
on
Oh,
me.
no. Okay.
Okay, I made it through. The snark is right behind me, bouncing around. My lead is definitely cut short. Now Robin's taking back the pace. I don't know if I'll be able to catch her now, but hey. I won't collect a win, as we all know. I won't collect the prize, I should say, so it'll be the snark, and maybe we can, give you something along with that ham. We'll see what happens with it. All right, here we go. Things are going to get weird. I got bounced to the left side. All right, let's back out and see what happens to anyone else. Looks like the snark is coming through.
I love these colors.
This is a really pretty track. I like.
Oh, God!
Okay.
Explosion. Okay.
There's no explosion.
It looked like something exploded.
No, it just bounced him.
There was smoke. There was fire. It was a song of ice. And of that.
All right, I am in pretty good shape right now. The snark is my only challenger. A lot of you folks are still trying to make your way to the funnels. So let's just move away from me. Focus on the snarked. See how they're doing as other folks are trying to make it through. The Scriptery, ASB Bunny, and Cursed Wolf are all in the funnels. Here comes Glitch and IMB Trainer. The snarked, however, is going into what looks like a Ferris wheel.
That's cool.
Went right through it. Congratulations, Snark. You have taken second place, which will be first because even though I won, hooray me, I don't get the prize. Third is Cursed Wolf.
The snark, get a ham.
You get a ham and a sticker if you want anything. Here comes the Scriptery. Ooh, she got hit by the fan blade, so that might slow her down. Oh, fuck, it's really going to slow her down. There we go. Iron Beef Trainer's trying to catch up, but probably will not.
The snark says, pass it on, buddy.
All right, so it goes to the Cursed Wolf. Congratulations, Cursed Wolf. All right, so we're going to have the rest of the folks try and finish out right now, and we'll just sort of sit here and wait for that blue wave of death to eliminate any stragglers, which is showing up pretty fucking quick because this track is slow, and it zigzags in on itself, so I feel like because it's not very long, the timing is not right.
Yeah. I'm also doing says, I had a customer mention she was making monkey bread. I asked what it was. She said it's Pillsbury biscuits cut up, rolled in cinnamon and brown sugar, tossed into an oven-safe bowl, and baked.
I have heard of monkey bread before, and
I have
it is
too.
Supposed to be delicious.
I've seen people put it in like a bundt pan. So they put, they do that. They put it in a bundt pan. They put like caramel in there too, and it bakes and is sticky. And when you pull it apart, it's just like sweet, sticky deliciousness.
David is out racing the blue wave of death and completes the track without getting hit. We actually didn't have anyone fall off that time.
The Cursed Wolf says, you guys owe me enough as it is, so pass it. So who's next?
I don't know why my ball is so dark, but hey, whatever. All right, Cursed Wolf says, I don't want your shit. It goes to the Scriptery.
She can get whatever she wants.
Goes to I Am Beef Trainer. Congratulations, I Am Beef Trainer. Please go ahead and go to ! Merch. Then go to Robin's Quiet Corner. Pick a sticker. Email us. Let us know which one you want, and we will send it your way. All right. Gonna go back to the menu. Gonna go ahead and switch us back to the regular cam.
The snark says, your ball is dark because of Manscaped. Hashtag plug.
Wow. It's smooth because of Manscaped. That's why I won.
Use the code Scaryish, 20% off and free shipping.
It's a pretty good friggin' deal.
Yeah.
All right. Gonna get this out of my way. There we go.
The Cursed Wolf says, I wouldn't go that far. I would like the shit that I haven't gotten yet. One of these days we have to get together and have a meal, have a game time.
Yeah, definitely. I want to dinner says she's asleep, but I'll let her know when she wakes up. LOL. Cool. Sounds good. Just have her pick a sticker, email us. She doesn't have to do it right away. And then, yeah, we'll get it out to y'all. So I'm going to go ahead and move us into the transition. Or I should say I'm going to go ahead and move us into the outro. And, yeah, we'll return everyone to their normal scheduled lives. Happy holidays, everyone. We hope you have a fun and safe holiday. And if you're not celebrating anything or you already celebrated, we just hope you enjoy your time off. Hopefully you have some. And, yeah, that's for you specifically. I'm probably going to say something similar to that to the outro, but just know it's cheap because I said it to you first. And that's the one that really matters because you watched this live. All right, here we go. Boop. All right, so we're going to go ahead and call that the end of the show. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in your emails. We sincerely appreciate it. If you have a story you would like to share with us, please email storytime@scaryish.com or go to our website, scaryish.com, and click on Contact Us. If you fill out that form, it comes directly to us. You can also hit us up on any of our social medias. Twitter is @ScarishPod, Instagram is @ScarishPodcast, and Facebook is facebook.com/ScarishPodcast. We hope to hear from you. Robin, if folks would like to donate to us, how can they do so?
You can go to patreon.com/Scaryish Podcast. Those are monthly donations. Tiers start at $1. And at $1, you get access to exclusive merch. There is a form up there that you can fill out and kind of choose what past merch you can get. I think I'm going to end that form at the end of this month. So if you want it, get in on it now. So you can join for $1, get access to that, get access to ad-free episodes. And then you can also go to ko-fi.com/Scaryish Podcast. And those are for one-time donations. If you're not into the monthly subscription thing, you can also do that. And all your donations go to helping us upgrade our studio setup, kind of keep us going, keep us motivated, give us a little bit of extra time to, make more content, try to do more research, give us more time to sleep so we're not doing last minute
time
research.
To make the content.
Indeed. So thank you so much to everyone who listens, who watches. It is the holiday season. We hope you all stay safe. We hope you get to be with friends and family. And even if it's not in person, maybe Zoom call, any of that stuff is always very helpful or very fun. And if you're just staying at home and you're alone, I've had Christmases like that before, and they actually weren't that bad. So we hope wherever you are, you're safe and you're happy. And I think that's just about it for Storytime number 150. We've done 150 of these things. So Robin, go ahead and sign us out.
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, keep on jingling on.
Ring, ring.